Futures back in negative territory to get started here on a Monday morning as we see yields absolutely ripping this morning. Back to the upside for the 2-year, the 10-year, the 30, all back above 4% in a pretty big way. So continued questions as to what we got from the Fed last week and how that's going to affect things going forward. Just be aware, coming up this morning at 9:45, we'll get the S&P Global Composite PMI. It's a January number, the final print for that on the manufacturing side of things. ISM, typically the one that is more closely watched by the overall market. So 9:45 and then 10 o'clock, the two major economic releases coming up this morning. We had Bostic set for 2 o'clock this afternoon. Kashkari was speaking early on this morning in the pre-market. So futures slightly downside. We have a ton of things moving around as far as individual movers this morning. More negativity possibly coming through for Tesla. We'll talk about Nvidia 700. I feel like it was 500 a couple weeks ago. Now we're at 700 for Nvidia. Impressive to say the least. It's Monday, February 5th, 2024. tradertv.live starts now. Gap to the downside here this morning forming for both the S&P, that's the SPY, and the Qs. We had impressive day on Friday, 2 days into the weekend. Pretty impressive as well on the weekly chart right across the board for the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow. But yeah, it's all about those comments that we got from Fed Chair Powell going back to last Wednesday, throwing a little cold water on potentially anyways this market rally, more questions being raised as to what the timeline is going to look like as far as rate cut, potentially a rate cut coming up later in the year. That being said, here we are still hanging out, what is it, 0.5% from all-time highs.
Yeah, we weren't spared even on a Sunday, Brendo. He took to 60 Minutes yesterday and made his opinions very clear about how he feels the market is pricing in these rate cuts, saying quite overtly that we're not going to cut as much as the market is expecting. And then you saw the futures absolutely turn after that point. Yeah, I had to PVR that guy because I was not going to miss a Fed speech on Sunday, Brendo.
It's a must-watch TV. Never mind, the Grammys this weekend, Super Bowl coming up next weekend. It's all about Jerome Powell. Yeah, no, it's definitely not panning out as far as he is concerned anyways, the way the market is pricing things in at this point. Still lots of time left, obviously, but at one point we were looking at 150 plus basis points worth of cuts to happen at some point before the end of the year. It's not looking like anywhere near that, especially after that monstrous job print that we got back on Friday as well, if you missed it. Again, it was 360,000 jobs created last month in the U.S., way more than expected. So more questions to be answered, guys. Happy Monday.
Oh, happy Monday, for sure. Look, forget about this whether or not we don't need cuts. Nvidia is going to get 700 anyways. It doesn't give a darn about it. The only crazy thing about Nvidia is I kind of hope it doesn't break 700 today. I know there's already a lot of people in the chat like, oh, Nvidia 700 today. See, it's at 680. I want Nvidia 700 tomorrow morning because now it has to run $18 to get there, and I think it's a different breakout if it does it a little bit tighter to it. But there's so much to be excited about. If you're a Caterpillar shareholder, you're certainly going to be happy this morning. And I can't get over how ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. That's the wrong word. How strong and resilient this market has been, because we get Meta after doing what they did, and now everybody, we were talking about this. It's like, wow, how great was Caterpillar? The great move up a few percentage points, but it's like everything's just a drop in the bucket to what Meta did. But it doesn't matter. The markets are still looking relatively strong. We're gonna have a couple. I have a couple of names that I am still looking short. Excuse me, Intel. We got to throw that one out there as always. But it was a good weekend and energized, ready to be back in here today. And yeah, as far as the jobs numbers goes, as you guys were saying, that's not even the big deal. It's actually the revisions which are blowing things out of the water more so than the actual job numbers, right? Like, it's like as big as they were. Anyone paying attention to the revisions is like, huh? What's going on?
I think there's probably some seasonality in that last one there because of the winter months and holiday season and whatnot. But yeah, welcome everybody. It's going to be another big day here. I don't know why I called up Caterpillar. It's up 4%. It's good number there. Yeah, Meta remains kind of sleepy a little bit here as we go. But yeah, these are the names that you want to be in, obviously. As remember, we were all talking about the equal weighted. I don't know if we have Michael Noss coming on today, tomorrow. Who knows? I think he'll be tonight with the recap show. But everyone was like, "Oh, what about the equal weighted?" Well, the equal weighted is getting destroyed this year compared to the market weighted cap. So Meta today up 0.65, actually down more than the market. We had the monster short there on Friday, and we'll see if we can get another short. I'm not super excited about shorting today, but 480 looks pretty good here on Meta. And then, yeah, I didn't even look at AMD, but I was looking at Intel as well right there. So we'll wait to see if anything can happen with AMD also at that 180 level. So yeah, I have a few ideas. I'm going to get the sticky note out and going very, very soon. So we'll talk about everything as we get this rundown going. And then, like we mentioned, we should have Michael Noss coming out soon.
Wait a minute, where's your hat today? It's Palantir earnings after the bell.
Yeah, I know.
Locked and loaded.
I know, it's over here. It's ready to go. We have Palantir on the list.
You have to wear that one on the market recap show. If you're not wearing the hat today on the market recap.
Yeah, we'll have it on there. Hopefully it's a good number.
Yeah, make sure you're around for 4 o'clock. Sean will have that PLTR in the recap coming up tonight. I'm just watching for any comments coming through here from Caterpillar. I don't see anything yet, but the earnings call underway here for CAT. Nice move this morning, one of a few here, notable names that reported in the pre-market. McDonald's, another one, and then, yeah, we get PLTR coming up after the close tonight. NXPI, another semiconductor name, notable there as well. We'll see how they do, but Caterpillar earnings, impressive.
Yeah, pleased as punch, as Adair would say. I'm involved in this name, so full disclosure. Pleased with the revenue. There was no guide given with the earnings release this morning. Waiting for the end of the meeting to see if there is a guide coming from there. But with respect to how they did, quarterly profit rose 85% year over year. Revenue grew nicely 2.8% year over year. It's essentially the Biden administration's $1 trillion infrastructure package that's really helped boosting things here, as well as a bit of an uptick in the real estate market as the 30-year mortgage rate comes down, Brendo. People or builders looking to put more supply online.
Yeah, just be aware. Again, not a lot of volume, to say the least, here for Caterpillar, but the earnings call on right now, guys.
It is, and you know what that means. If you happen to be trading it and you're not listening to the call, good luck to you. But at the end of the day, we always talk about buying quality companies and where do you like to get in. On a daily chart, I'll show you a daily in maybe a second, but on the weekly chart here, it was sort of, obviously is a bad word, but it double bottomed and then put this in 2022, put this level in at about 170. And to me, that was one of those spots where if you like the company and it does that, once it bounces, you get the close above, the next week you're buying it at 180. It's right in here. It's it does the dance, it closes above the 200 on the weekly, and then at 180. And now it's absolutely flying. The trend is so clear to the upside. And when you look at this weekly chart, how great does that look at 210? Is it not? It's obvious in hindsight, but you've got to pay attention to these things if you're looking at strong companies. Now, not out of the water. The housing market's not out of the water by any stretch of the imagination, but they're doing so much revenue in the energy part anyways. That's just so much of a bigger part of their business these days. So I wouldn't be too worried about that overall. But as far as a trade, light volume, which gives you a little bit of pause, especially when the call's on, because it's not going to sit here doing absolutely nothing. When the conference call's on, you can see some whipsaw action back and forth. I just think you let it settle down. The good news is the call's on right now. They should be done or wrapping up as the open's coming in. So if you are looking to trade any kind of continuation, this daily chart's kind of wild. You got to look to previous breakout prices. It did have a nice 325 bottom, something like that, if you happen to be looking at it. It's not going to be on my radar, but I'm pretty happy. As I said, I've owned Caterpillar for a bit, and I'm not looking to sell anything just because it's at these highs. I think you let good companies go. It's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And all this did is sort of reaffirm the move that it was already making. It's just, you go through this earnings season And there's been a few names that have not been that great, and we talk about them every now and then, but there's a lot of fresh highs being broken out in an impressive way in this earnings season. And every single time you own one, you just gotta sit back and smile.
All right, I'm not gonna spend any time on stock, we're not gonna trade, but yeah, Caterpillar has been an absolutely rocket ship. One of the first names I've ever bought. Like the name, just continue, I mean, Neil nailed it, just continue to hold it. Like I said, we won't be trading it. I was looking at Intel, $43 possibly there as a top. That's gonna be on the sticky note. I'm just working on getting that out, but yeah, let's go back over to the desk and get going. 8:40 should be an exciting week. More earnings. I mean, this is a great earnings week, by the way.
Yeah, I was reading a few to come this week as well. Alibaba is one of those, so that'll be an interesting look coming up. They have a bit of a headline, minor headline today for Alibaba. I was just noting there's a pop there in oil trying to go green on the day. I mean, future's not that bad. 0.17 for the NASDAQ right now, 0.3 for the S&P. Again, we'll just keep an eye out for anything coming through from that Caterpillar call. Here is the 30-year. This is a daily chart right now, so 2 days in a row. Huge move. We're back to 4.3. If you go back to just Thursday of last week, this was 4.1 for the 30-year. 10-year looks exactly the same, more or less, just a little bit lower in value, a little more volatility. 4.12 for the 10-year. I mean, 2-year looks exactly the same as well. I mean, the market holding on here, but typically we see, both of these moving opposite directions.
And you know what we've been seeing lately, the market go up and yields go up, which is something that we don't typically see. So we could see strength in the bond rate market today and also see strength in equities. Just to show you here what Brendo was talking about, look at this high that we put in here on the 2-year, really breaking through that lower low pattern up to 4.368 this morning. And then we're really close to making another higher high here on the 10-year. If we touch that 4.2, that breaks this downtrend that we've been having. Interesting look here from the bond market.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how this week plays out. Again, we're beyond all of the most important data points until we get to the next CPI print. At this point, again, we get some manufacturing coming up this week. We get some industrial side data coming up this week, and of course, nonstop Fed speak. So it might be one of those weeks where we have to really keep an eye out for comments coming through, because the market seems to be in a place where anything that answers this question might be notable at this point.
Yeah, I would tend to think so. But, at the end of the day, the great thing about earnings season and just the markets in general is you don't necessarily, like if we're sitting around waiting for hints from economic data to give us direction and then you don't get any, well, is there anything to do? Well, there's plenty to do. There's plenty to trade. But I got to get on over to the queues, where the queues are right now. I wanted to talk about BTC just for a quick second, because I know we didn't really get a chance to talk about Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys heard that good morning, but
they did. I'm sure
okay.
They did, yeah.
I wanted to just very quickly, BTC here. And by the way, you'll notice that when I talk about Bitcoin, I'm no longer pulling up like a Binance or a TradingView chart. Now, here, I get to show it live on P-Pro 8. So, one of the values of real trading is that you now have, you always had tons of markets to be able to trade. Pretty much every equity market out there, Forex is there as well, futures markets. But now you can actually look at crypto. So if we're trading Maras of the world and we're trading the Riots and the Coinbases and all that good stuff, you want to look for key things to break out. And I just look at where we double topped it last week, and it's like 43.75. And if we get that, it looks like we're pressing into that, that could provide a little bit of a breakout for some of those names, especially the squeeze type names. Like what I'm looking for, like Mara to continue, I'm looking for a catalyst, right? If you talk about looking for economic numbers as catalyst, well, in the crypto space, Bitcoin taking out this double top would be a nice catalyst. And then you look for some, I guess, confluence on a chart of like a Mara at that point. Like it could be, because you don't know where the stock is going to be when you take out levels like that. I mean, if you know that, then you guys let me know. I'd love to be able to make that prediction. Like maybe Mara is taking out this 19.2 and you're getting a nice little breakout top. Maybe it's breaking out the absolute top at 19.75. Maybe it's at the lows trying to hold on to a double bottom for some reason. But I'd just be looking for long setups if you get that break over on Bitcoin. So there's lots of places that you can find catalysts for movement that don't necessarily have you relying on listening to the news for some hints from the Fed or watching 60 Minutes last night or potentially getting some economic data which may or may not move the markets. We've got earnings. We've got the chips moving like absolutely wildfire. You've got the EVs under pressure still. You've got Bitcoin moving around and crypto moving around. So there's always individual things you can go to. And so I always have that in my back pocket. If Bitcoin starts moving, I know where I want to go and I know what I'm looking at.
All right, yeah, crypto should be exciting. I sold some Bitcoin last week, but if we are ready, we can go over to Michael Noss and the big guys at the big desk.
Get a look at what Mr. Noss is going to be looking at this week, because we're at a very interesting point in the overall market here, as we were discussing. Even going into the weekend, Michael Noss, good to see you. It's extended, but that's hasn't seemed to matter, to date in this move to the upside. Here's Nvidia at almost 700 this morning. Big part of why the market continues to just grind to the upside. But you want to go out and have a look at a higher time frame today.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit on Friday and gave me a good idea to take a look at some monthly charts and to go out and kind of have a good wide view of what's happening while we wait for, either the market to pull back or settle down or give us some sort of pattern to play off of. And when I did, just going through and trying to figure out something for you guys, I actually found a pretty interesting pattern that I think may actually line up with a lot of the seasonality stuff that I was talking about earlier in the month or earlier in the year, where generally speaking, this time around an election year, you have more chop in the first time of the year, and then when the election's closer to being decided, you generally get your move after that. Now, we haven't seen that yet, but I have some more evidence here that we may. And the first chart here is just of the S&P 500. And I want you guys to focus on, just ignore the current candle, because that's the current month and we're only a few days in, so that one doesn't really count. But I just wanted to highlight the section and say, yes, we're overextended. But if you look at it in the monthly chart, we're up 3 months in a row to break resistance. Now, I think that's what people are kind of calling as overdone. However, if you go back in history and you look at what happens when we are up 3 to 4 months to break a prior resistance to get us out of a bear market like this, I think you get a more interesting picture of what a market looks like. So I think I found 4 or 5 examples of the S&P 500 doing just this. So if we go to the next chart, this one here was 2016. The reason I pulled this one out first, and they're not in chronological order, is because I thought this one was kind of the most impactful. Now you can see 4 or 5 months up to break a prior resistance point when we had that 2015, 2016 resistance area, 4 or 5 months to break that area. And then if you look what happened for the next, say, 4 or 5 months, there was some sideways chop. And then if we go, I guess, to the next chart here, we have 2000, we're skipping ahead a little bit. That one there, perfect. So this is 2019 and 2020. We all know 2019 was Trump and Jerome Powell fighting about interest rates, and we all know what happened in 2020. Same kind of thing, 4 months up in a row, broke resistance, sideways chop for 5 or 6 months before the market really got going. Same in 2020, after the COVID scare, we broke out there, and then we had 4 or 5 months of sideways chop and then another trend. Then we go to the next chart here. This is 2012. So we're going way back in time right here. Same thing, right? We had a bear market, comes out of it, takes 4 or 5 months in a row to break that bear market. And then this one was over about a year of sideways chop and then to the upside. So this is a pattern that I just saw over and over and over again. But what I wanted to say is that, yes, we get some sideways action and some choppy action after we get these breakouts, but in none of these cases was it a full-on correction, crash, back down, bear market, all of that craziness. It just goes to more evidence of that we may resolve this overbought condition whenever we decide to by moving sideways in price as opposed to moving down. So I think this is the last chart here. It's very gold. Right? You guys know I'm interested in gold. Now, if you look at what's going on here, we've already had that 3 months of up from the bottom to break out of resistance, and we're about a month and a half or so of chopping sideways. So we may see the same thing in gold. So this just seems to be a pretty common pattern. Last chart but not least is XLV. I just did this one just because it's very, very clean. You can see XLV didn't get hammered, which is our healthcare sector. It didn't get hammered like the rest of the market, but it did move sideways for that entire bear market, and then 3 months in a row to break out. So again, it's kind of self-evident, but it's good to, I think, visualize it in this way, where a very strong market that can put 3-4 months in a row of upward momentum to break a major resistance point, that's obviously bullish, right? That's what you want to see in markets. And when you hear all this talk going around of, oh, we're overextended, yes, that may be the case, but it doesn't mean that we have to pull back. In none of those cases, we've had these really dramatic pullbacks. It's just been a handful of months of up and down and kind of sideways action. So, we're talking about monthly charts, but what I'm looking at here is this is going to potentially, if we start to see this action, this will guide my swing trading for these next few months, because I'll be less likely to buy breakouts, and I'll be less likely to chase overextended stocks, and I'll be more likely to buy pullbacks and sell rips. So not saying that this is exactly what's going to happen, but just, hey, it's happened a lot of times in the past.
And you touched on it there a little bit, and I want to hit on that a little bit more in the sense that we're not saying anticipate, the market to go sideways here for the next, pick your number of months, but in that environment, is there some specific changes? And as I mentioned, you hit on a few there. Is there some specific changes to the way you approach things that people can keep in mind?
Yeah, and I think it's the same as day trading, right? Swing trading and day trading and investing, they all have the same kind of patterns that kind of rhyme. They're just different time frames. So just like if you were a day trader and the market is an inside day, so the market's not able to break yesterday's high or yesterday's low, you'll probably be a little bit more in scalp mode, right? Let me take money when I see it, do that kind of thing. If the overall market from a swing point of view is choppy, I'll be the same way, where I'll be looking to buy support, sell resistance, take profits when I see them. And then when we're in this breakout run mode where we are now, I have a fully long portfolio, and other than making a trade here or there, I just kind of sit on my hands. So yeah, it's finding what playground you're playing in, and then trying to figure out the rules to play by in that playground.
It's so easy, depending on your time frame, it's so easy to get very focused on a very, very small time frame and say, oh my God, the market just goes up and up and up and up and up. But very good idea to zoom out, zoom way out, and get a bigger perspective of what exactly is happening. Great stuff as always. Michael Naw, CMT over at Trade Ideas. Happy Monday, sir.
Happy Monday. Talk to you soon.
I love that. Figure out what playground you're playing in, and then the rules. There's some obvious rules to the playground that are always going to be true. Especially for little kids. I won't get into them. But when it comes to when you're in a bull market, it's really easy sometimes to figure out what that might be. Because if you do, as Michael says, and zoom out, and I'm just using Eli Lilly for an example here. Like if you do zoom out, then you know that them and Novo are in their own particular bull market today. I was just actually talking to one of the floor managers here. He's like, why is Novo Nordisk up when they're making an acquisition? Like, probably because these guys are up once again. The only reason I bring Lilly up is who gets to 700 first? Like, this morning I was thinking when I saw the 685 or whatever we're at on Nvidia, I'm like, oh my goodness, Nvidia 700, and completely forgot about this Eli Lilly making its own run toward $700. Oh, see, I was going to do the congratulations. You hit the bang. The bang works just as well, Sharif. But my money's on Nvidia, just because Nvidia, I think, is more likely to put in that kind of a day. Like, it just moves a little bit more. But do not sleep on these bad boys. It's been absolutely a banger of a move for them. But it is Lilly to a milli. Oh, goodness. We ain't talking about no milli. We're not talking about milli, Cameroon. Who said it? It was Mr. Memes in the chat there. No. I want Eli Lilly to a trillion. That's the target. A trillion is the target. And I'm pretty sure, it gets there. The stock has to get to, over 1,000 for it to get there. It feels like it's going to happen. The real question becomes, do they split before that, right? Like, when is NVIDIA going to split? Are they going to have a split? Sean and I were talking about maybe Meta having a split at some point, but yeah, it certainly is more about that trillion in market cap for this bad boy.
All right, yeah, these GLP-1 stocks have kind of taken a back seat a little bit, but I mean, impressive moves, you know, to say the least, in some of those names as well. Let's get a few analyst moves for you on a Monday. Dara has upgrades and downgrades over at the screen.
Speaking of NVIDIA, number one here on the upgrades list, price target increased from 700 to 800 by Goldman Sachs, also being added to its conviction buy list. So good look here for NVIDIA. Warner's Music Group getting an upgrade from Redburn Atlantic here. Klaviyo, one of those September IPOs, getting an upgrade and trading a little bit higher today, up almost 4% after Goldman Sachs giving this one a bump to the upside. Tapestry also getting an upgrade here from Evercore ISI. For downgrades, TJX leading the way here, Redburn Atlantic. Take-Two getting a downgrade here from MoffettNathanson. Clorox getting a downgrade from D.A. Davidson. These guys reported earnings last week. And last but not least, Mattel, maker of Barbie, getting a downgrade by J.P. Morgan Chase, trading a little bit lower today, guys.
All right, interesting names. NVIDIA, obviously top of the list. We'll touch on that Goldman Sachs note. Mattel to the downside, this T2 and TJX as well. Both moving around here this morning. Still not much on this, 4.7% for Caterpillar today. Anything on that list catching your eye?
No, not specifically. We were just joking around about Mattel and the Barbie wave that continues to come from that, Brendo. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Nvidia because that $700 is coming awfully close. You'll remember last time when we broke above 600 in the pre-market, we ended up selling off at least for a day, and then we were able to reclaim that 600 during regular market hours the day subsequent. So we'll have to see what we do with 700. I can't believe we're talking about 700, Brendo.
Yeah, already it's impressive. Right across the board, brand new week, brand new sponsor, bringing you the first 30 minutes of the show. Brought to you by Hedgeye, a premier investment research firm founded by former hedge fund manager Keith McCullough. Trader TV viewers are invited to try Hedgeye's core macro investing package free for 30 days. Go to hedgeye.com/TTV.
Yes, sir. Get on that. And just, look, we didn't get a chance to talk about that upgrades and downgrades. Going back to the desk first. But I will, I'm 99% sure of this fact, so I'm just going to say it. When putting together that list, there's always a lot of upgrades and downgrades, right? So it's obvious when Goldman Sachs comes out with that big price target on NVIDIA, that's going to be top of the list. When Meta gets 27 million analyst upgrades, that's going to make the list. But you wonder, like, how do we decide what other ones to put on there? Mattel was only on the downgrades list because as Sharif was making it, he was singing the Barbie song. Right. While he was doing it, it's like, oh, well, now you have to put Mattel on there. So, you know, if you're wondering what the method whistling,
I mean, a lot of people wake up and sing the Barbie song.
Oh, I mean, I feel like absolutely never for myself.
Same.
Hey, what up, Obi? Obi just got in,
Same.
sitting down at his desk there. But what's interesting, Klaviyo there, just because it's a recent IPO, it double bottomed. Klaviyo might be trying to break out. This 7% to the upside is nothing to sneeze at. The problem with this for a trade is the volume is less than 5,000 shares, unfortunately. But it didn't realize this had put in such a distinct bottom, not something we really cover. Mobilize, a recent IPO that I'm really usually looking at, but not bad for Klaviyo. Maybe you can get through the $30 level. You need to see actual volume on this. I know Instacart sometimes would do volume as a recent IPO. This, not really there. I suppose if it were to come in, that would get more interesting. But you saw the name on that list that everyone's interested about, and that's going to be Nvidia, with Goldman Sachs raising the bar on Nvidia. And we'll see what happens. The other interesting thing, if you forget about 700 first, Eli Lilly or Nvidia, who splits first? That could be the other interesting question. Walmart's doing a split. Who's going to be next to split? Broadcom would make a ton of sense, but they don't seem to be interested in that. So Nvidia or Eli Lilly, it's got to be one of the two.
Yeah, I think it could be Chipotle. Could be the next one.
Them too.
So we can see about that. February 21st is Nvidia. Is Nvidia earnings? I just closed the chart. I wanted to show you guys. I'm just going to reopen it. But what about Mobileye? I mean, Mobileye had their earnings. They had a bad a bad whoosh down here, obviously, on the warning. Haven't really been able to get out of their own way, but here's what I'm talking about right now. You're starting to get back above, right into here, this 27.50 area. So, you get a swoosh down and then boom like that, and then maybe a nice little move up and you get this garbage out of here. So this isn't a horrible play right now. I don't think anyways, going long if and when Mobileye, I don't know enough about it, but if and when they break above that 27. Another name that's coming this week that should be looked at, obviously, is going to be ARM, and we'll trade that here as well. Let me just get the date. I think is it Wednesday? ARM. It is February 7th, so yep, so Wednesday. So we'll wait to, today's February 5th, yeah. So we'll wait to see what happens with ARM, but that's something very, very similar as well. Holding this 70 period moving average. It's not like Mobileye that it whooshed down, but you're getting a nice move down. And then I would say, I mean, it could happen today, potentially. You break through kind of this 75 area, and then, you retest those highs. With earnings a couple days away, you never really want to sort of dig into something, but down here, $70, if the market continues to make a move down, which it's trying to, then I think this could be bought up. I like ARM here, especially since we're talking about some more recent IPOs. So again, a very old business, but a newer name to the market. I think you can get away with buying some ARM here, but don't reach too far.
We're just talking about Nvidia, the daily chart, amazing on this thing. Let's get into everything else we need to know here as we head towards the open on a Monday. As always, Sharif going to kick it off with a look at the futures.
49.80, guys. That's where we close out on Friday. Let's keep an eye on that level. We have an overnight high, a Friday high of 49.97, 3 points below 5,000. So resistance level, 5,000. Support level, let's look at that 49.50.
All right, if you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. It's absolutely free for you from us every single day. All you need is your email address, and then you get everything you need to know in the pre-market sent right to your inbox. Let's go with Nvidia here, top of the list once again as we approach, as we were saying, $700 this morning. Goldman Sachs raising their price target, never mind 700, to 800, and also adding them to the conviction buy list to start the week.
Yeah, no weakness in the demand for their products, Brendo. So fresh industry data showing there is robust artificial intelligence linked server demand and improving GPU supply. So not just the orders, but the actual fulfillment of those orders, which obviously means dollars and cents. Keep your eye on this name today for 700.
I was wrong. It's 6 days. So if you go all the way back to the beginning of the year, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red days the entire year so
Unreal.
far. Crazy.
And really, when you look at those 6 days, the appropriate way to describe them is just like it's accumulation at those points. Like it gets to a level, it'll stop and accumulate and then just kind of go sideways, and then just there's your explosion to the upside. So the red day just sort of signals, and then you get a red day, then you get a tight range, and then a breakout. You get a red day and a tight one, then a breakout, red. This was like another sort of tight small day and then breakout. So what's interesting is this has held pretty much this entire move, 480 all the way to, we're at 682 right now. So for this last $200 move, if we get a red day on Nvidia and the next day is a small range inside day, the day after that it's just been a rocket ship kind of day. So that's what I would look for, but that pattern's not happening until you get a red day, so we're not worried about that. Well, we're hopefully not worried about that today because it's up 3%. When looking at it, when you're looking at something which is constantly breaking out in its blue skies, you're not going to have obvious levels on the daily chart to go back to. Buying a previous close, we're not buying into the previous close, because if we get there, all you know what is broken loose if we're at $660. So you can look at things like pre-market lows, your stairs to the upside. Like when it's gapping like this, you just look for consolidation, break, maybe a consolidation dip, which you could have had at 650 on Friday. Those types of setups are in play. The other thing that'll come into play is what can a rising tide lifting all ships with Nvidia here. I look at AMD on my list, and it's like 181 here. It almost got their pre-market. You'll see what happened last time, before they dropped. You had resistance for half a week at 181. There was a little bit of a tick, double top at 185. You guys can't see it because my head's in the way, so there you go. You had this double top here at 185, and then from there, 3 days in a row, 181 and a quarter. So if it breaks out 181 and a quarter, AMD's got $3 worth of upside into this 185, where I think that's a sell zone. If Nvidia happens to get to 700 and turn around at that price, then I think the short would be at 185 on AMD. But it has been nice stair step up. If it were to break out from this 181 quarter, I think you've got $3-4 that it could go. If there's a name that has not been doing well in the chip space, you know who it is. Intel, since the earnings, it's attempted to make a bottom a couple of times. I would say Friday it did it again. It tried to make a bottom and held. So today, does it do anything off of that low? You got to prove to me it's a sell till it's not when you're in a recent trend since earnings. So you got to prove to me that you're holding a higher low. So 43 was the short level at the open on Friday. And then above there, you've got like 43.5 and 43.8. So plenty of levels to short on pops here for Intel, the first one, if it tries to go green. Maybe it made a bottom on Friday. It's entirely possible when you get a wipeout, a little wick like that. Sometimes that can start something to the upside. But you got to show me a break of the trend before you jump on the other side. Look at the EV names. There's a couple of up days on stocks like Lucid and all those, but the trend is pretty clear. And until it breaks, I still want to be looking short on Intel.
I just put an order to buy Google if we dip down in, but that's what I was doing on my phone. All right, just real quickly here. There's no way in hell I'm buying Nvidia up here, so if you want to go long on Nvidia, it won't be with me. I'll be probably shorting somewhere around here, but we got to let it settle down. Same way I was talking about before. Try to be as patient as you possibly can be. I've been really patient. We killed Meta, and we didn't trade it until 1:30 on Friday, so let's be patient. I feel like this 688 could be a top. We'll wait. I don't know. It's a great upgrade. To be long Nvidia has been, I mean, quite the ride, needless to say. And I just messaged my father. I was like, look, every time I sell this Nvidia, it seems to be the wrong decision as it just keeps on mooning. We sold some on Friday or on Thursday or Friday, it might have been Friday, into here, I guess, 660, something like that. Now you're up to 682. I'd have to double check that price. Actually, I'm not sure I sold Nvidia. I think I sold Meta, something else. I think it might have been Nvidia. We talked about it on Friday. Anyways, I don't want to get in front of that train either. So let's let it settle down and see if we can figure out where the next stop is, and then we'll get on the train to the south side on Nvidia. Or if we really rip up and we really get going and we miss the long, then a playback to VWAP is always something that I like. Like once you get a bounce back in, we have to clean these up. But right now VWAP 680. We'll let it settle back down. I don't want to gap to VWAP very early at all. On the sticky note of courses, Intel, you can go look at that. I'm going to be short that name, $43. Hopefully, I'm short a hell of a lot of shares of that as well. And then I just, looking at AMD here, I'm looking short. So you can, okay, those are already bears. So you can put a bearish hat on me today. I'm going to be looking at like this 182, 184 area, again, to short all these names. Market's down. We've had a great week of earnings. We're going to have another great week of earnings. I'm most excited about Palantir tonight. We have Disney coming up as well. Then we have ARM. I've just bought some Alibaba recently. We're going to talk about China soon. No. Alibaba on here, I think, is going to be a good story off earnings. Again, we're seeing if we can clear this 68 back into 70. I'm trying to buy 72s right now, but I may just change this. The market is falling here pretty good. Not the market, but a lot of these names. Bob is falling back in. I just talked about Google a little bit. I'm going to cancel my 72 for now, or at least put a little bit lighter shares. But I really like Alibaba down here. I thought Amazon's number was absolutely huge. Upgrade from Piper today. Alibaba, I think, has a lot of levers to be pulled here. I want to stay long Alibaba today. I'm just, again, uncertain of the price, as it's only 908, man, and some of these names are coming back in. So, yeah, let's be careful a little bit with Alibaba coming into 72 as we speak.
Tesla had that pretty impressive move into the close on Friday. We held on to 182.5, I guess it was, but so much buying down there in front of 180. I mean, 180 is the real level. Yeah, we're down better part of 2% here, but still firmly within the range from the past couple of days. For Tesla, I mean, there's still lots of comments coming through about this $56 billion compensation plan that was canceled by that Delaware court going back to the end of last week. Say what you will. It's going to be interesting to see if this deal gets done where they can move that incorporation to Texas and then how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll talk more about this on the midday when we have time. But yeah, it was a bit of a bamboozler there to take that package away from him. But the headline today, Brendo, Piper Sandler trimming their price target on Tesla from 295 down to 225, basically saying that their EV delivery estimate won't be what they originally projected, which was almost 2.2 million vehicles. Now they're thinking about 1.93 for all of 2024. They're also saying here Tesla's aging product lineup may require more price cuts. I don't know if these guys know, but there's two new Teslas, yeah, the Model 3 and the Model Y that are going to be brand new and redesigns coming out. So we'll have to wait and see whether they hold on to this perspective.
Yeah, and again, if you zoom out, I mean, even the past 3 days here, this slow kind of grind back to the downside continues. 180 probably the real level here, guys, for Tesla.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Just one note quickly here. Snapchat cutting 10% of their global workforce, it seems. So they just did this move essentially the last couple of minutes here, broke from 17, got all the way to 1760. But last week, you had resistance above 17. Specifically, if you look on the daily chart, you're going to see a bunch of wicks above 17.5. It's huge resistance up here when you get close to 18. But it was about 17.15 to 17.20. That was that top level that it couldn't break. So I want to be long back into that. If it can hold that level, great. I think it has a chance to get to that 18, which has been a big problem for Snapchat. But the EV names have been in trouble and trending down for a while now. Tesla just happens to be holding up the best because they are the best. And 180, maybe we get a challenge at the 180 level. I like that a little bit more than the 182 in terms of dip buys. I doubt, now that you're sliding further away, yeah, 190 doesn't seem like it's very likely at all today. I just got into Snap there, but that 190 doesn't seem very likely. So I think you got to look to the afternoon tops for any pop and fade on Tesla. It's like that 188 area could be the way to go. I generally have preferred to look at the others for some shorts. I'm on the offer of Lucid, where it essentially topped out at about 330, 333, 335. That's the range I want to work with because this is what Lucid has done every day since that little squeeze day. Pop, fade, lower high, lower high, lower high. A lower high would put it anywhere underneath that 340. So I'm looking at specifically Lucid to short on a pop. Tesla gets to 180. I probably would at least try the long off there, at least the first time through if it gets all the way down. But I'm going to go back to the well with the shorts on Lucid. And maybe we get something in Rivian at that $15 level for like the millionth time.
All right, on the sticky note today is going to be, let me just push this right now. Oh, there's no RAM today, I just realized. Oh, that's too bad. All right, is Tesla. And Tesla's going to be a number one. Yeah, it's too bad. I wish he was here. All right, it's going to be it just means you got to stay late again, Fabian. Every day. Yeah, it's okay. Traders and producers stay late. All right, so, oh yeah, the podcast, something like that happened. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so here we go. Google today on the sticky note, but so is Tesla right there. 188, 189 short. Piper downgraded, sends this name a little bit lower. Am I concerned about it? Yes, I am. Am I going to go short? Sam, I am. I mean, I like the short here on Tesla. I wrote down 188, 189. I mean, if that comes into play at some point, right up into here, I like the short. It's been the weakest name of the Mag 7. It's going to continue to get hit under pressure. I really only like to trade this name when there are catalysts, so this feels like this is a good enough catalyst here to trade. Downgrades, and just quite frankly, not where people are putting their money right now. So let's just wait to see. I mean, we could be wrong on this for sure. It has a great level that we talked about on Friday that we completely ignored. I was actually just not even joking about it. We zoomed back into 182, but I was like, I don't know if we want to go. This was here all day. 182, and we just kept on not taking it. I felt like the market was weaker. This name was weak, but then obviously we saw what happened in the last half of the day, and it took off, right? And so that was a huge mistake right there. I still don't want to go short on the break of this level, but you know, if the market hovers around down 0.2, 0.3, 0.4-ish, I feel like that 182 is just a level that you're not going to be able to ignore. So I really want to go short, but that long, if opens up, I feel like Tesla being down 3% or so is probably a little bit too much. let's just wait to see what happens down there at 182. But for me, man, the preference is way on the short side of this name, 188. I'm not waiting there now, but I'm going to go put it here right now. Let's try 188. Let's see if we get a short 188. We'll watch 189, and then we're dead in the water if it goes up to 190. That'll be our punch-out area. So let's see what happens around 190, but let's start the trade at 188, see if we can put on a doozy to start the day.
All right, Cat downside here, a little bit of a move back in. CEO saying, yeah, there's some comments coming through. Because of supply chain constraints, we've had internal manufacturing operations that are not running as efficiently as the company would like. He was also talking earlier about softening demand going into the remainder of the year. So Caterpillar still to the upside in a pretty big way here. Struggling with 330 though.
Yeah, he sees softening demand in industrial production, so building out of factories, foundries, gigafactories. But where he does like is the growth back into new home construction or real estate. He's saying that's going to pick up the slack there. He also mentioned China. A lot of questions about the weakening economy there. He says he sees the China demand there to be flat for the remainder of the year. He doesn't see a decline. With respect to numbers, Brendo, I mentioned this at the top of the show. Quarterly profit rose 85% year over year. That's really owing to a one-time charge that they had last year on the quarter. Revenue grew much more expectedly, 2.8% year over year on the quarter.
Yeah, we all know the China real estate issues at this point too, which is going to hurt them. On the other side of things, here's McDonald's down 1.8%, trying to roll over currently, another one that reported this morning. I mean, we just had not one but two different McDonald's stores in our neighborhood leave. I don't know if it's a rent thing or if it's a demand thing, but they packed up and left. So McDonald's talking about lower demand too here, guys.
Yeah, remember McDonald's is actually getting embroiled a little bit in some of the protests as well. So that might be weighing a little bit on them. But just for McDonald's, look, it's actually, look at the chart, $300. When it gets to $300, it was selling off anyway. So on earnings, if there's anything that looks bad or anything that is seen as negative, then you're gonna sell off from resistance level. Just interesting about that 50. The 50 period moving average has been holding this last couple of weeks. That's what it has to hold on to today. That's pretty much it. This is not a day trading stock per se, but I suppose if, like maybe in the middle of the day when you get down to one of those bottoms and you got the 50 period trying to hold, you could maybe find some kind of a bounce long. That's all I would do with Caterpillar as well. Like come back after the opening range, when the call is all done with, if you see a good level to trade off of where there's a consolidation and the volume's now in and the support's there, then you go for it. The stock's a rocket ship in the long term, that's great. But as far as the day trade goes, I mean, the call's been going on since what, 8:30? And the volume was 146,000, I think, when we looked at it at the open of the show. I see 190,000 now. And that's with the conference call going on. So there's not enough volume in Caterpillar for a day trade.
Look, I mean, I own McDonald's, recently sold some of it yesterday when I was going to go get coffees for some of the parents and whatnot. Normally we all go to Tim Hortons. I was driving around, I saw McDonald's and went into there, came back with a couple McDonald's coffees, only to find out that pretty much all the parents prefer McDonald's anyways to Tim Hortons. So, you know, they're still working out really fine. You know, I sold up here, we talked about that, up into 300. There's some names that I just think, like, you know, when you're going from 250 up to $3 right there, there is the worry of the GLP-1. I mean, that is changing people's eating habits and craves and all that kind of stuff. You've seen Pepsi's been really getting sort of blah right now as well. So there's a few different things here happening, and I just think that you want to wait on McDonald's and give it at least a couple days movement back down into the downside here, because you're right at 290 and looking to break lower. 280, 270. I mean, they're such a huge name and such a staple, you know, across North America and worldwide, really. I mean, I know they pulled out of Russia and things like that. Just really quickly talk about, you know, different countries and trades. I just want to check back in on Alibaba. All right, it's 9:18 right now. Let me just see if there's any imbalances for those of you. This is really the only thing that matters when you're going to be trading earnings really early on. I don't see McDonald's on here or Caterpillar or anything. Palantir's on here as a buy, but we already talked about Palantir, man. Palantir's been, again, if you've listened to the podcast, we've been talking about Palantir for a while. Down here, 16, 17, 18, 19. But I like this level, $16. If you get a dip buy into this one, we will talk about it. It is tonight. But Palantir doesn't look like it wants to dip at all. We're bidding 17 change right now to see if we can get that coming through. But they're the biggest name here on the imbalance locator. XPEV, I don't know what VLD is. Fisker there. You don't look at that until it gets above $1. Eli Lilly, we've sort of hit that on 7 bills. Looks like that's going to take that out today. Boeing maybe is dipping into a level where I think you should be buying it. And then that's about it, man. Space is, okay, still $1.70. That's actually not that bad. I don't think that is.
It's almost $2.
Okay, anyways, all right, let's go back over the desk. Boeing and Palantir up next, 2 New York names.
Yeah, Boeing looking very weak once again on this note. Over the weekend, there was even some reports I was reading that the initial 737 MAX 9s that went to Alaska were shipped to Alaska with no screws in the door. Like they just forgot them altogether. So there's more details coming out of this. But new reports discovered new quality defects in the 737 MAX. They don't even specify. It's the entire lineup at this point. So right back to close to the bottom of the range here.
It's like the pot and the kettle, Brendo, here. Spirit catching the problem this time with Boeing's work, or according to Spirit, he's saying, as a part of our 360-degree quality management program, a member of our team identified an issue that does not conform to engineering standards. Essentially what it is the screws at the window were not done in conformance with the engineering designs, and they were able to catch those. So good thing they caught them before anything was made of it, but more trouble here for Boeing.
Yeah, the story continues. Unfortunately, guys, back downside. I mean, it's 2.5%, but still kind of right in the middle of the range if you look at the daily chart.
Yeah, like it's all about the range on Boeing. I feel like if you're not waiting till it gets to 200 to try to go long the stock, then you're just not being patient enough, right? And maybe we see, okay, we're not going to. I was about to say maybe we see the top of this range and then you can fade that, but it's been 215 to 218 has been the area to go short, and this is everything ever since things settled down. 197.5, I think, is the actual bottom in here. Call it that. So if you get down underneath 200, you're still in the supply zone. Like you can break 200 even, and you're still in that zone where it's been bouncing. So I think that's what you look for today. You know, just try to keep it very simple. Because I don't think you get 217, the fade on this off resistance is either back up at previous close, closer to like the 210 area, or sneakily, is that even a word? 206, 206.5. Just look at that double bottom to end the week. I think that's where the open pop and fade on Boeing would sit. Like if I'm trading it, I typically would prefer the stock not to be breaking out if you're trying to fade it back down into that 200 level. Boeing just cannot seem to, you know, at some point, you know, the news, eventually this always happens, right? You get the news cycle off this latest issue, and by the time you stop getting more bad news, it'll have already bounced like 10 to 15%. So when you look at this 200 level, you know, this is like, clearly other people are loading into, or not loading into it, but other people are buying off of that to look for the dip buys. I think it makes a little bit of sense. Just a one update, our position, we're working on the position board. I am in Snapchat, just to give a quick update. I did buy the dip at 26, got some out in front of 40. Looking for it to press higher. They're cutting 10% of their workforce. That's the reason for the gap up, but we're working on the position board as we speak.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Boeing, again, I've sort of outlined this trade. I really like it. I think if you could buy it into here right now against this 175, I just think it's better one-to-one to the upside than it is to the downside. We're getting through a lot of the bad news right now, I'm hoping. And if there's more bad news, then there's more bad news. And you hope that you're able to get out in and around this bottom of 175. But to take about a 10% worth of risk down to, well, I guess it would be about 12, 15% at this point, but down into here, I well think it's worth starting a position right here on Boeing and then almost average in as it comes in. I like the trade, and we're going to see what happens here today. Obviously down 2.5%. You always want to let the news settle down, but I like the name down here, and for a day trade, yeah, I mean, we bounced off 198, 199. This is not a horrible level down here as well for Boeing. It's not really on my radar today, but, you know, it could be, as many plane stocks should be on many radars, of course. But, you know, Affirm would be another one of these names. Affirm, I think, reports later on this week as well. So there's a bunch of names. Yeah, Feb 8th, so Thursday. There's a bunch of names that are just going to start flying around. And I always think of Affirm because of the short interest. And then, of course, the fact that rates aren't changing doesn't bode well for this name either. So I look to short Affirm and like 41 bucks. I mean, if we can get up there again today, let's let this thing base out. It has a short float of 17%, so it's going to have to sit around somewhere. And if it does, I want to be short if we can hover around 41 and then using that as my break spot. So I really like Affirm up here short around 41, but not willing to take it against myself. I'd rather sort of build the position and then see what happens when and if we break 41. So let's wait for Affirm to bump up there, but it's on the radar as well.
Nice gap to start the day here, start the week for Palantir, 3.5%, 1750 coming back into play, which is, if you go to the daily chart, prior resistance ahead of their report after the close tonight.
Yes, sir, Brendo. Going to be very interesting today. Widely expected to post about an 18.4% increase in revenue year over year. Many analysts basically saying hold this bad boy. Not as many saying with a buy. The average price target for this is around 14.5.
It's dare I say, shout out to Michael Noss, looking like the start of a smiley face on the daily chart down here. Back to the upside possibly for Palantir.
You say smiley face? I mean, that's what you say it's starting to look like? I don't know, like that. What do you see there? Like I see the defined bottom at 16, holding the 200 period. If you zoom out, I guess that's why you're saying it doesn't really have it yet. But yeah, you've got the higher low set in. You had a monster level at 1360. Like that's pretty clear. The higher low at 16 is being put in. Now it's trying to break out going into earnings. Typically look for the breakout after, I would suppose, but I think it's going to be in play today. It's already done good volume. My morning mix this morning, all I simply looked at is previous resistance turning into support. So if that's 17 into 1720, then that's the buy zone. Doesn't really feel like we're going to get that, does it? So the only other way to look at this would be if it doesn't get down into that buy zone of the previous resistance, maybe it just consolidates here, 1750 to 1760, and then you would get a run to 18. So the good thing about Palantir is when it trends up, it tends to trend up in a nice, like linear fashion. See how that goes to the upside with plenty of opportunities to get in. So if it gets to $18, it should provide something along those lines. There's a lot of names reporting. We mentioned these guys reporting after the bell today. I neglected to mention, and this is when I was talking about Eli Lilly, one of the reasons I was bringing them up sort of randomly there is Eli Lilly reports before the bell tomorrow. So there'll be another one post earnings. It's the only reason I was mentioning Lilly kind of out of nowhere there. The Palantir after the bell tonight, you'll get that on the market recap show for sure with the hat on. Front way, back way, we'll see depending on the earnings. And then whether or not we get the dip buy on it, try to be patient, but it's not seeming likely because as we're talking, it's breaking out the highs.
Yeah, that's why, honestly, man, we've been talking about Palantir for a while. It was one of the talks that we had a couple weeks ago on the podcast. This is why you buy it ahead of the earnings, not day of or week of or as news comes out. We've been buying this name down here, so hopefully it continues to go back up. We get through the 50-period moving average, and the rest is history for Palantir. Let's just see what kind of a quarter they come up with. I hope they come up with a great quarter, and the news sells off, and it sells it off. We've seen that happen, in my opinion, with Google and whatnot. Even Apple obviously went down to that 180 mark and then blasted up and didn't see a down print there on Friday, or it didn't seem like it wanted to anyways. And then right now, as you remember, everybody was like, oh my God, Apple, what are we going to do about this name? Now it's back up to 188 as this name is up huge today against the market, man, up 1.2%. So there we go. Yeah, unfortunately, Cat won't be back the very next day. The cat won't come back. You thought she was a goner, and you are correct right there. So we say see you later to Kat right there and wish her the best of luck. So those of you asking about her, yes, she has moved on. So right there, 188.75 was the high we got there before earnings, and then we fell all the way back into 180. So right now, for Apple, I think you just wait for a pullback into 187 and change. Palantir's on the sticky note. I didn't mean to get by it, but I've already sort of talked about it, and I think the levels are about as obvious as can possibly be. You got to wait for a pullback here for Palantir. It's off to the races. It's going. There's no doubt about it that Kathy was listening to the podcast. I hope all of you are, and we'll see what happens here as Palantir makes a move back up to the upside, up 4%. You want to play pullbacks on this name, but again, we always talk about pullback. to VWAP, which would be at 1754. But again, it's on my radar. Not the strongest name on there, as we only have now Adara, 50 seconds before that bell gets going. 43 here on Intel, that could come into play. I am actually sitting there to see if we could take a short into 43 for Intel, which it looks like it's trying to get there now. BABA dip buys, Tesla short opportunities if we get into that 187, 188 area as well that we talked about. Google the long if we break through 144, and then Alibaba down at 72. So that's what I'm doing, so let's wait to see what happens here.
Yeah, absolutely. Into Snapchat, the position board will populate the second we get a fill on something else, which will happen at the open. In 20 seconds or so, as you mentioned, Intel, I'm there as well. And do not sleep on Nvidia. I don't think we see 700 at the open, but there's an outside chance we see 700 today. I got AMD up because that 181 could come into play very quickly, but let's get the countdown on. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it there. Monday morning has started. Ooh, Intel's moving up already.
Okay, good. Yeah, hopefully Intel can get up there as well. Hopefully it gets up to our levels. We're going to wait for Alibaba to open up and every other level to start going. We didn't really talk too much about Google. If the market gets going, I like the 144 break long. That could actually come into play. I actually didn't realize it was that strong right here heading into the open as Google's trying to take 144 right now. So we are bearish today, but that can change, especially if this market keeps going upside with Apple as well, pulling back in just a little bit. So this name's going to have to do something. Man, these charts are brutal today. 188.50. Let's just see what happens on a little bit of a pullback in now for Apple. AMD fading off 179 as well.
Yeah, AMD doesn't even want to get up there to be short. We might have missed. If that's all Intel does, it just went 42.78. To the upside before turning around. That's a little bit disappointing because if you're looking to short the pop and that was it, I don't want to move down just yet. I'm not moving my order. I want to stay by that 43 and give it a little bit of time. Snapchat, which is still on the New York. Hit enter twice. Yeah, a little bit slow here. Just bounced off that 17 again. So we got the high low the first time when it bounced off 17. And cutting 10% of their workforce. That was just as we're in the middle of going through our little rundown in the morning. Snapchat came through. They're back at 1730. I got an offer to sit in front of 1750 to get more out here. So up 2% on the day. Obviously, no one wants to celebrate people losing their jobs, but it's going to be seen as cost-cutting measures being positive for the company going forward. But to the upside, Snapchat, the only thing I have on here in front of that 17 is Intel starting to get close again.
Yeah, we just took Intel there. We did have a 10-cent winner, but we're going to hold on for it a little bit more if we can on this name. So Intel right here. We do have an offer at 90, so it looks like that's I don't want to just miss this offer.
At 80.
Well, if you're at 80-something, you might have just got it there. I don't know. But yeah, okay. So we're just going to wait then to see if this one wants to come through. It's going to be Intel. We are at 90 there, and it just missed us. So that was 86.87, as we just mentioned. So we'll wait to see if that comes through. We're being really chill. The only position we have is Intel, so that is right on that board. Ford could be something as well. Let's just see what's happening with Ford here. 12.06. Again, relatively recent upgrade by Morgan Stanley, adding it to its conviction buy list or something like that, or best trade ideas list. So nice little number there for Ford. All right, we did get more into Intel, and now it's coming back in. So here we go again for INTC. Of course, we missed the monster trade, but we have a little one right now. We're going to put this one in the bank a little bit here as it's continuing to go. So we'll wait for a nice downside push there on Intel. We'll go 1 for 1 right now to start it off with a little bit of a bang there for Intel, as we have now 15-20 cents in the money on INTC.
Oh, we totally forgot about. No, we didn't forget about Meta. I'm going to get to. I know you just talked about Intel, so there's no point going back to that. But Meta here just took out 470 to the downside, so that's starting to head back in. It's down 1% already. If you weren't paying attention, yes, you know what's going on with this stock. Watch out for 465. That was the breakout price on Friday. Let's see if it can get back down there on Meta. Intel, I got 84s. I moved from 88 because I didn't get to fill up at 88. 70s, 60s out. 450 just held. So I'm going to put a bid down there at the 450 level. But just going to get back to Snapchat for a quick second. Do not want to turn a good trade into bad. Snapchat just took out the 17 level. So we got to 17 bounce. I got all the way to 1750. Take a couple of points there and then stop out for the last of it for 9 cents worth of a hit. I think it's worth it, risk to reward. but Snapchat on that break does not hold. It can always go sideways, maybe make a higher low, but you got to be able to ring the register when you see that kind of rejection at the 1750 level. Take your profits. No one ever went broke taking said profits.
All right, and there it is again, another sticky note name right now. Going to go 2 for 2 on the sticky note here today, guys, and they're 2 big ones as well. It's 30 cents in the money on Alibaba. Let's take out 20% right now. We're doing it again, guys, today. Intel, we already took some profits down there in the 50s, went right down to the 200 period moving average. Let's just get some more out if it continues to make some sense for us. All right, and here's another move coming through, hopefully now as well. With there goes Alibaba. I mean, we're still in the pocket. Again, you know, we could talk about whatever we want, but honestly, at the end of the day, if you're looking for some trade ideas, we have the watch list. We've got the sticky note Neil puts out, the rundown. You can see right here, man. There it is right there. BABA 72 long. So now it's 65 cents in the money. It's Alibaba. It's 72 long. It's Intel, and Intel's climbing back up to 43. So we're going to have to address that short here as well. But so far, so good here with the Alibaba and a nice little trade upside there into 70 bucks, 72 bucks downside, sorry, for Alibaba, but still working out. So far, so good. Let's just let this market continue to run. There it is, man. It's a good one. It's 60-cent winner for Alibaba.
Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. 15 just came again. No freaking way. 15 on Rivian just happened. You got to be kidding me. I just tried to get 2s, 4s, and 6s to the upside, and it was so fast when it got down there. Whatever, it is what it is. I'll slap a fail because you know how good this level has been. It's been absolute gold. Like the last couple of days, you bounce off 15, you've been getting at least 2 to 3%. And Rivian has done it a third time. Hopefully, it's just a gift. The schmirking, you're absolutely right. That's why we go over it every single day. But I was just there trying to grab it. I'll see if I can still hang around and pick up that bid, but it's looking pretty wild on Rivian. Off $15 for the umpteenth time. Adara?
On semi, ON getting a nice move up here right off the open. Falling a little bit. We're still up about 8.5% after an earnings beat across the board here. They did have projections for the next quarter a little bit on the lower end of the range, but overall, really nice look here trying to get 10% once again, guys, for on semi.
I was just saying, like, good thing Neil mentioned Intel. My order got canceled there. I have no idea, man.
Also, no, Nvidia is strong.
You know what's strong? We have almost a dollar club winner right now. We're going to go 2 for 2 today in Monsters once again here today. There goes Alibaba. It's just, like I said, I'm just about to tweet this out because there's the 72 level. And if you're just rocking, you know, there it is right there, Baba long 72, you know, as if there was that crystal ball there. We're lucky on that trade. Actually, we're not lucky. We should have had some more down there. But, you know, it did fall in. We talked about that bid early. Join us early every single day for that trade as well. Okay, Intel now trying to make a move. We should probably be more short up here. I wish I was, so let me put out a short offer here again. We don't have the best price because for some reason my order was canceled. I got to figure out, I feel like there's something's changed in the cancels here because I did have a big order up there at 90. We'll take it though, right here on Intel. It'll be another, I think auto cancel might have switched something, or it's got cancel all or something has changed. But here we go again. We'll go 2 for 2 rocking right now with Intel. Let's see if it can make a move back down in. We got to capture some profit, but let's not capture a lot in case we are a home run right on this one. Intel, we're short a decent amount of shares here at 87.
So we'll see if it works again. Well, rinsing, repeating on Intel at 43. It's not a rinse and repeat here on Rivian, though admittedly it should be. 15 bounced once and got to 20s. I just picked up 5s. Actually, I just left my bid at the $5 level. And we're going to see if we can get this back up to VWAP in here. So 15 even, you guys know the drill. I also shorted Lucid. I said if that one got to the upside, I'd short the pop. Well, it got not quite up to that 333 where I was sitting. Turn around at 330. So creatively enough, I shorted the first available option. I got fill at 26s, and I will give it to that 330 level. Lucid makes a high, I'm going to short that high. And Intel, there's a reason we like it at that 43 level. It did a better move on Friday, obviously, to the downside, but it's still giving it to you. I just got some 90s up there. So let's see if the party can continue on Intel. Lucid starting to work. Rivian, as I said, off that 15. This is now the second time it's bouncing. So the first time, I usually expect to be the best. The second time through, if we get to VWAP, I'll be perfectly happy. But watch out. The chip names for a second were strong. And AMD went red briefly and is now trying badly to get back up to 179. So if this holds downside, I mean, the Intel should look absolutely fantastic if this trend continues, because AMD is starting to look a little bit weak. But the newest position was getting into Lucid, and then the 15 long on Rivian.
All right. Like I was saying, guys, we are pretty over the moon here with the trading here today. It is your first Dollar Club right there, brought to you by Alibaba and Sticky Note Nation. And then again, we're trying to get some more out of Intel. I'm only going to talk about the positions I'm in, unfortunately, guys. BABA and Intel. So Intel short. We just took a little bit more out. We'll wait about 70 again, where there is that VWAP spot. We'll wait to see if we can get some love there as well. But so far, so good here. And there goes Alibaba, now $1.10 in the money. Not only are we hitting this on the day trade side of things, but those of you that were paying attention last week know that I also pot some in the long-term account as well. So Alibaba working out so far here today. Let's see if it continues with that move, now up $1.20 and change. And honestly, it doesn't look like it wants to stop. So we're pretty happy holding this one. And then, yeah, we'll hold out hope that we can get a little bit of a movement here for Intel back down to the downside. But if we break above 43, I'm confident enough to get out of this one. We're trading it with a decent amount of shares. I don't want to hold it too much past that 43 top that we've seen in the past. So, maybe up to 43.10 or so, but watch out for Intel. But it's coming back in, so it's all good on this front. But so far, so good here. Take a little bit more out at 77 there with Intel. So it's a big day here for INTC and Alibaba.
Yes, sir. And remember, Baba's bucking the trend. I showed you guys AMD working to the downside, Apple working to the downside, Meta was falling as well. So we are seeing the NASDAQ pull back a little bit here. I just got the pre-market lows on Lucid, so I've taken out now only about 20%. Now we're looking for the breakdown to 310. $3.10 is the bottom from Friday. Want to be able to respect that if we can get it. Wow, no, Nvidia is actually strong. Nvidia is going to break this out. With AMD down, I want to get to Tesla because I'm short an EV name. Tesla's down at 182. Tesla bounces off 182. Hopefully Lucid doesn't bounce. That's when I say hopefully, I'm guessing it doesn't care what Tesla is doing. Rivian might care a little bit more, but Tesla is getting very close to that 182 bottom you saw on Friday. Cannot complain. Right now it's going to be 4 for 4, but if I'm concerned about one, it's got to be long Rivian as Tesla's getting down into that bottom. 15 is holding like a champion, but there's only a couple 100,000 shares on that bid. That's not a lot for Rivian. It's not that big of a bid.
All right, guys. Intel just continues. I'm still waiting for lower here, 42.50, 42.53. Hopefully that can come in, man. It's a big day for that trade for sure. Let me see what else is happening here. We can check out some Meta. All right, let's go over to some Meta and see if there's anything settling down here. All right, so a couple good sells for me last week, it seems like, as there goes Meta down 2 and a bit. We talked about only trying to short this name today. I hope some of you did that. There's the break on Meta, breaking back down below 470. I wish we would have been a little bit more convinced about that. But there is the break. Okay, so we'll have to wait to see now what's happening with Meta. It's coming back in nicely, maybe breaking back through 370. Wow, okay. A little bit, that sucks because we were a little bit too conservative about that. We did talk about shorting it. But you know what, guys? I am honestly thrilled. We just got 63s on this one. So this is like a very, very big trade. This will be the P&L number 1 here today, as both of us are on this one. But we're trading this with a very good position sizing, and I'm just going to let this one settle down. We have $1.20. We've done 2 trades, both on good shares and both exactly as was written. Alibaba long 72 on the sticky note, and then Intel short 43 again on said note. So I'm just going to wait to see what happens now, but we're pretty close to our daily goal already, and it's just off of these 2 trades. So far, so good there. Maybe an Affirm is trying to go upside a little bit here. I just noticed AFRM. $40.50 or so there as that high. So yeah, it's not moving enough. It just came across a scanner. I don't know. It must be a VWAP one or something. But right now, Affirm is doing the dance there. All right, Intel. Honestly, now you're getting into the 50s. Again, guys, trade your book. Do whatever you guys need to do. But Intel is right now making some nice moves down. And yeah, I am chasing P&L a little bit, making sure to get out because this is a good one for me here today.
Got to take those targets. I mean, if you look at the bottom on Intel, Like it held 42.40 the entire pre-market, and then in the afternoon that was support level as well. If it gets down there and bounces, you got to respect it. Lucid, I'm respecting Friday's lows. So on Friday, you can see 310 holds like a million times, and once that happens, I'm going to get out there. We're risking 4 cents plus slippage, so when it goes 7, 8, 9, you want to be taking it out. When it goes 12, I might hold on to a small piece for the dream, but that's going to be just about it. If you got Rivian the first time, great, but the second time through, it just wicked that 15 level. I got out right on the 15. If it decides to hold above, I might take a second shot on Rivian at that 15 level because it's been such a good price level. But I still see Tesla headed to the downside and want to respect that. So we're going to hang on to the shorts. The market's not flushing, but at least the two names that we're into the short side are working nicely to the downside. I want to go over to Nvidia before we go to Adara here. And note that unlike AMD and most of the other names I was looking at in bigger cap tech, it is still trend up. That 700 very much well within sight here, especially given the fact that this is relatively strong here today. Let's get to the desk with Adara.
Just getting those S&P Global Composite numbers in here. Have those right here. We do have a Global Composite PMI final coming in at 52, so a little bit lower than the 52.3 forecast. 52.5 for the S&P Global Services PMI final versus the estimate there. So yeah, nice good look here for those PMI numbers. We actually have the ISM PMI coming up at 10 a.m., so stay tuned for that happening now, guys.
Right now, look, guys, even on 2 trades, man, this is a trophy kind of morning, okay? So make sure that you pay attention to what we're doing over here. If you don't, again, you don't have to have the same trades as I, but like I said, this is what it's all about. Understanding where your strengths and weaknesses are, and just attending those, man. And right now, this is exactly what we've been doing. It's just going to be another one of those mornings that hopefully some of you are also making a little bit of coin on. And I only have 2 trades, but I don't apologize for that. This is a trading show, and if if you're looking for winning trades, then why not? There it is, man. 2 for 2 to start the day, and it's a trophy morning. So Google near 144. Okay, hold on a second here. Oh, shoot. All right, well, there's another missed opportunity. So the sticky note will go 3 for 3, but not me, because we did miss that. And we did write it right there. Thank you so much for you guys in the chat. This is why you're the best. Right there, Google long, 144. Thank you so much for bringing that up, my guys. But unfortunately, I missed that one, and that sucks. You guys saw me in the pre-market. I was talking about putting a bid down here. I put a bid at 139 in my own account to try to get some more Google in case we did flush on some kind of a number. We purposely don't trade open on the show here as we're trading current positions. We don't want to trade our own accounts. So I put that order to sit there, and unfortunately did not get a fill because it did not go down there. But theirs goes 144. It's Sticky Note Nation, and stand up if you're on that one, because that's a 3 for 3 kind of day right there. But we won't big up too much on Google. But there it goes, man, breaking that 144. I wish I would have looked back at it. This is what I'm trying to do better, guys. I'm trying to pay attention to my own notes. And look at that. It bounces off 144 over and over and over again. Definite missed opportunity, but a shout out to everybody out there. Thanks for keeping it real with me, because that helps me. I think it helps all of us, right? When you notice that, hey, something I missed, but it still would have worked. So you sort of store that for next time. So we'll do that, and we do miss that one on Google. But what else can we do? It's only now 80 cents, 75 cents in the money. Ugh, that sucks even more. The more I look at it, the more upset I'm going to be. 140 in the money, though, is Alibaba. So all of a sudden, turn that frown upside down. This is also, shout out to Reliable Rudy and everybody else that's out there. This is a name that I just put in my own account at 72 bucks on Friday. We talked to probably 72 and change on Friday. So let's see if Alibaba can work into earnings. So far, so good right there. You're right, Adam DeLuz. We're keeping it as real as we possibly can. So shout out to you guys, and shout out to Adam and everybody else out there. And a shout out to, I'm going to steal one of Sharif's lines here. Big Kyle Burdett mentioned how much fun and how great the podcast was. You and Sharif could talk about that on the midday show.
And we'll keep it real too, because we talk about the ones you might miss. I missed Rivian, the $15 on Rivian, but we just got into Palantir. We'll see what happens. They report after the bell, just for anyone that isn't, for some reason, not tuning in the morning at 8:30 when we go over these. But the start of that bottom was 1720 on that last week's resistance. So 17 into 1720. It just bounced exactly off of 1720 here on the 15-minute chart. So I jumped in on that bounce. Going to look for a retrace back into VWAP here on Palantir. If it can't hold the 20s, I work back into 17. That's the entire buy zone that we're looking for. We're going to jump back over to Adara at the desk, but just one quick update on Lucid. It's coming back into VWAP. So if I get another chance to reload this, I want to be short back into that 330 level on Lucid. Let's go to Adara.
Nice move up here for Adverum Biotechnologies, ADVM on the NASDAQ. This company agreeing to sell some shares in a private placement at $120 a share. A nice look. This one just cracking over the $2 mark right now. ADVM, guys.
Still upset about Google. We'll move on it though. This Alibaba continues to go. We were actually just talking about that on the podcast, Anurag, there, about not trading C3 AI in forever. So let's go over here really quickly and check that out on the podcast, on the chart here. Yeah, it's actually doing okay. It's just, I don't know, if you're looking for long term, I think this looks pretty good down here on 23 bucks. Keeps on bouncing off this level. So yeah, I think this could be something to be bought for sure. I thought when you were doing that there, Fabian, that maybe Randy was behind us. I'm going to ask immediately for a coffee here or go up and get one myself. But okay, here we go. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that, my guy over there. All right, so Sharif's going to go get it. Down here, 42.60, 42.50 or so coming in there for Intel. So again, remember, trade your book, trade your style. But right now, Intel is definitely cruising right now, and Alibaba is a good one as well. That Google missed it. I did want to talk about Tesla. Look at this, man. 144.80 it went to the high. 145, actually, that was a dollar winner there. The other one that I was cautious on that we've talked about over and over again. Remember I said about Tesla. This one is the #1 trade idea for the short. The only thing that I mean, we got to get better at lots of things, but one of them for sure is to possibly just be taking shares against the price areas, but with the direction. We knew Tesla was going to be short. The catalyst was short. We knew that Tesla's had a lot of problems recently going back up to the upside for various reasons. Corporate governance, the EV space. We talked about how much of a nightmare that's been. Neil's looking at Rivian and Lucid and all that over there. And then now you get Tesla just getting cranked down 3% and starting to go lower, lower, lower. All of us geniuses that bought this name in and around this 180 level are going to be feeling some pain very, very soon once that 180 is taken. So just be very, very careful there. The bottom of Tesla, I might smash this. Oops, I might smash this, guys. Let me just zoom in there on what is that bottom right there. I'm going to do a little bit more work on another charting platform. That shows 180 flat.
It is 180, yeah.
I think we broke it, man. I think we went a little bit lower. But anyways, either way, I mean, 180.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, 180 is right there. So that's going to be the level. But I do want to find out. I feel like we broke it, but maybe we didn't. So, all right, let's go back over to Adara with a piece of news.
Yeah, I have actually a story related to Tesla here, reporting here that SAP is removing Tesla from its list of suppliers for company cars. So just a new catalyst just coming in right now for TSLA, guys.
Okay, so just a couple of things there. Interesting news. Like for me, the 180 is held as long as it's within like the first 10, 20 cents. Like if it broke the 3/4, I'd be pretty sure that I would have written that down or something. But I think it doesn't matter. It's close enough to it. Palantir, you saw for a second that it was still in there, but remember, my stop was at 20s. If I say my stop's at 20, when a 20 breaks, I'm getting out 19 or 18. So I jumped out of it, and I'm waiting for the 17 level. I wrote down two numbers. They were 17 and 17.20. It tried to bounce off the 17.20. Ended up risking about 8 cents there. Could have been a little bit more, but that ended up being that. We'll see if it's 17 does hold. I tried to grab Lucid on that curl. It couldn't quite get to VWAP there. Now you have me saying VWAP, retrace back into VWAP, but didn't get it at that 24 level. I was looking for 24, 25s. It curled at 23. But back through the low of the day, I'm going to start taking more shares out, especially if the EVs go to the downside. I think it's low-hanging fruit to be short this kind of a name, and then it's just Flush City. The daily chart, I say this every single day at some point. If the daily chart looks like that, what's your plan of attack? If your idea is to find longs on a stock that looks like this, then you know what, like good luck. But it can be done, and it's got a good short flow. The days that it happens, it can be good, but the trend is your friend till the end, and then when it bends, then you got to adjust. I'm going to throw out some ideas that we would have had on a firm because this is not, like you already said this, Sean, this is not popping.
No.
I mean, at all. Like 41 was all the world on Friday. That was a level we're over and over again short. It seems to want to hold underneath. And that's a big gap underneath this 40 level. If this starts to break down and the market can't hold the lows, might have to consider trying something on the south side of 40, or we're just not going to get into that one at all.
There was something else I wanted to look at. Oh, we did get out some, well, okay, we did get out some more intel, but not a whole heck of a lot of it down there at 60, as we're still, I'm still trying to hold it. I still like the name. It's just a matter of, is it going to act properly here once again? And of course, we're talking about Intel. So another bid down there at 60. Like I said, I'm still all for the short, man. I like the short. It's just, it's going to have to print. And right now, it doesn't seem to be doing that. We did get out of some Alibaba. There was another name that I wanted to look at right here, and I can't remember what it was. I'll mention Snapchat. Neil was in it, right?
Yeah, and then it didn't hold 17.
No, okay, so that's what it was. Okay, so I just wanted to say the same thing basically, was that since we didn't hold 17, you're now under VWAP, you're under the 200, you're under the 50. So I knew that Neil had traded it, and the long was going to be right. We like Catalyst alongside, but once it breaks, you get out. So now I'm going to use that top as pressure now to break. So again, a chase back down into VWAP, and remember this name on what we thought was good news. And again, sometimes you can think wrong there, and it looks like that might have been the case here, as the news seems to be the other way around for Snapchat, and it's going downside right there. Again, good quarter from Snapchat's friends Meta. We'll wait to see if Pinterest can hold for it as well on advertising.
What? Whoa, hold on a second.
What? Pinterest is later.
Why the heck is SMCI up 7%?
Oh, because it's a meme stock. Remember we talked about that.
Come on, like it's
no, but it is.
No, it's 9% short float. It is.
Yeah,
it is the actual short squeeze name.
Yeah.
But I thought
what's
Nvidia.
at?
No, Nvidia hasn't broken the top
Right,
yet.
okay.
The second I saw this, my mind. I see 7% up on SMCI and it's 623. My first thought was 700 Nvidia. Like that's exactly where my mind's gonna go. Thank you, Sharif. We got the coffee refill.
Yes, Sharif.
Okay, so we're excited about that, obviously. But yeah, 9% short flow, which I'm going to assume has gotten bigger. Those are just, I don't know, I haven't checked trade ideas since last week on it. Those are estimates, but this is absolutely flying. The shorts are getting squashed on this name. Oh, whatever, I mean, it is what it is. But there's Nvidia just breaking 693. Okay, 700 today. The 700 level, at the beginning of the show was like, who's going to get to 700 first? Eli Lilly or Nvidia? The answer is very clear.
Hold on. No. I'm not counting out the biggest and baddest, man. Eli Lilly, baby. What is it at? Same price? I need to know.
Boom! It's already at 700
There
bucks.
we go. Okay, there you go. See? Palantir turned to dog crap, apparently. Let me go over here and find out what exactly that's all about.
I love Eli Lilly.
Right, I love Eli Lilly too. Again, another name that I looked over in the account and I was like, we're up how much on this? I sold some at 600.
Are you kidding
So
me?
I got to get back into that one. Well, 630 at 620. I'm going to have to look because honestly, it's like what Brendan said before. Some of these names are definitely getting popped off right now. I'm going to back away from Palantir right now. Move coming back in. I'm staying away from this one. If stocks don't trade the way that you think they should, you can get away from them. And I'm not in it. So we're already rocking now as Intel comes all the way back up. Like, hello,
SoFi
Intel.
750 is close.
SoFi? Oh my God, SoFi so good on that one, I guess, today. 750 downside, wait a second.
No, that's down, dude.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
I'm
so
on the
not
bid
SoFi
here.
so good.
For anyone that remembered last week, SoFi $7. Okay, the last 2 weeks, I suppose. It's been $7.50 on this stock. So if it holds that, great. And just one more for it, because Lucid, forget about Lucid for a second. Rivian broke that 15 level. I got out on 15. It actually ended up bouncing into VWAP if I had held it, but now it's just selling off under that 15 level. So you risk I'm risking the 5 cents and not anymore, because what if it did this the first time and you hold it and don't get out at 15? I'd rather not do that on a downward trending stock. It's down 5%, short the pops. If this pops back into 15, I want to fade that. Need to be getting more out of Lucid because someone's holding the bid here at 317 and it's not size. It's just a refresher. It's just every time it gets down here, like the bid gets down to a few thousand shares and it doesn't seem to want to break, or when it breaks, it then holds 16 and a half. So I'm going to get a little bit more out at this 17 level, as it seems like you're getting some kind of a bid here on Lucid. I would have expected already to be down at that 310.
I'm going to just hop out of, oopsies. I'm going to hop out of Intel if it gets too much above 43. I'm just canceling that. I had it at 43.10 before. I did not get more shares there. So this is not me telling you that I'm more short or less short of Intel, but I am waiting at 90 now. So hopefully we'll be able to catch something there on 90 or so for Intel, and then we'll play a break of 43. So if that gets above like 42.80, sorry, it's not 42. If it gets above 43 and change, a couple pennies higher than that, that's kind of how we would prefer to roll with INTC. As Nvidia, man, just got 694, and that's funny that you mentioned that about Eli Lilly, because now that's 707 and still going. So LLY. Yeah, this will probably 705. This will be the next one to split, I would think. We do have ISM non-manufacturing PMI. So Adara, I think we should probably get ready to go over there, Fabian, at 10 o'clock because that number is coming out in 20 seconds. I do not want to put Adara on the spot if we're not ready. But as she is ready right now, let's go over there and we'll get that number in just 10 seconds. Let's go, Adara.
Yeah, just some prep for these as the numbers roll in. ISM Services PMI is going to be the main one we're looking at here. Consensus of 52, forecast of 51.7. We're also looking at ISM business activity. But first, we did get that ISM Services PMI a bit higher than expected here, 53.4 versus those 52 and 51.7 we said earlier. ISM Services business activity coming 55.8, services employment 50.5, new orders 55, and service prices 64 here. So here's the look for all of those ISM numbers trickling in, pretty much all higher than the expectations, with the exception of the business activity here, guys. SPY reacting not too much to this, still down about 0.2% on the day for the S&P 500, but some individual movers to keep an eye on, including Novo Nordisk, up now almost 4% in addition to Eli Lilly. So all these weight loss stocks on watch, but the story for Novo Nordisk is its deal with Catalent, which is a biotech company, basically with regards to upping the production of Novo Nordisk's weight loss drug, Wegovy. We also have Boeing trying to get a little bit of a recovery, still down about 2% after some new 737 MAX delivery complications here. So lots of names to keep an eye on as we head into the rest of the day, guys.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, Catalent being bought for $62.50 cash by Novo Nordisk. Also, this EVBG, they're being bought for cash at $28.60. You'll probably see me in and out of it. Like I just got in and out of that one just now. However, anyone that's a DWAC shareholder is probably pretty happy.
Really?
Right now, Digital World acquisition. I don't know what at this point, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter. Everyone knows why it's going up. I don't know particularly why it's up today. Could just be a technical breakout, I suppose, at 42. But the last time it was up here, like it's the 42 level. There's your week high from last week, and then the gap's to like 50. So the fade to me is at the $50 level on DWAC. And when that happens, sorry, if that happens, I should say, not when, I should be saying if, then I'll go to Funware. As if, Rivian.
What's it doing now? So I did get in. Go ahead, yeah.
I was on the offer right here at 94 to start getting short in front of 15. It got right to 9. It just didn't print the offer, and now it's right back at the lows. I want to be in this short again. Underneath the 15 level. Sorry, I was long in front of 15. I want to reverse it and be short underneath. But first things first, SoFi is going to be at that 750 in a heartbeat. I'm long at 53 here. On the bid, this is just like Rivian at 15. There's only 250,000 shares at 750. Just like Rivian barely had a couple 100,000 at its 15 level. So SoFi is tanking into this 750, where it has held the last couple of days, to its credit, couple of weeks.
All right, I've actually canceled. So we did get into Palantir down here at 90. I mean, we just didn't take the 17. We're looking at 1680 as a break level there for Palantir. If we break, that's where the 50-period moving average is. I'm not even really using technicals here. It's just I got to get out somewhere, and that 1680 has kind of been the top right into there. So here it is, man, a nice fall in there. Remember, they're reporting tonight. So, you know, we always talk about being careful when you have a stock that's coming in to report. It looks like Palantir does have some slippery moments ahead here for PLTR. Alibaba continues to go, man. That's at day's high and still going higher. So we'll have to, you know what? I'm debating getting some out here. There we go. We took some 90s there, or sorry, some 89s there on Palantir. I just want to get lighter on this, man. So, what was that story?
Just a note on Palantir, just because
go ahead.
It bears mentioning. Like JD is trying to go. Pinduoduo is doing absolutely nothing. Last I looked at Neo, it was having a crappy day, but maybe that's because the EVs stink. But the only one that's close to trying to go upside would be JD on sympathy. Everything else I looked at, I'm just talking about the Chinese ADRs at all. They're not going at all. So it's very much a BABA thing. And remember, they report Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I just wanted to make sure. I knew it was. Yeah, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Pretty much after the bell. Lucid finally broke that bottom. So the buyer, the refresher at 16 is gone. Sorry, 17 is gone. I want to get the next bid at 13 even. However, if the market continues to go down, it's like the shorts that have worked. Got to keep a tight leash on these. Any of the long trades, SoFi. It's weird. Like I would be in, probably would have been in and out of Palantir at 17 if I didn't jump to SoFi 750. But either one of those possibly breaking down. The last time SoFi was down here, it held 747. So I want to give it not just blindly to that 750 level. I want to give it to that Friday low at 747. So a few extra pennies. That's why I haven't added to it. Usually if I was long 53, I'd have 52s and 51s. But I'm not doing that because if it breaks to 50, then I want to be able to get back in on the way up or maybe add to some of it at like 49 or something along those lines.
So we're going to obviously be down on Palantir right now, but they've, Kathy's turned the machines the other way. They're going down right now. So I did take, oh, here we go. Now it's starting to go back up.
Kathy.
Okay, come on, Kathy. Yeah, you're right. Let's get this thing going. Look at them stacking that bid. Someone's trying to push it right now. But
oh, yeah.
Either way, we'll watch it. So we just got some out sub 90s there. We got some 87s and some 86s, I think was my worst. Yeah, so not happy about getting out some 86. But as it comes back up to the upside, let's take a little bit more out here. As it went into the area that we thought. So if we can get a 95, that'd be really great. There it is. Yes, sir. Now let's go. Now we're starting to get some money back in on the Palantir trade. As, man, I'm just trying to go 3 for 3 with decent size right here again. So we were a little bit nervous about that Palantir trade. Still are. I mean, like we showed you, we took the long, we got out, then it just started to bleed, and I'm like, oh God, this gives me some like AMD thoughts here about AMD getting turned off and whatnot. But now we'll see if Palantir, they can turn it on, get that going, as we have a $2, not a 1, but a $2 winner right now with Alibaba, as that's going. Intel just a dime piece, and then Palantir, we'll wait on that, man. Hopefully Palantir gets going. We need it to break 17 before we really do it. So I am right now sitting. We didn't get that high. We just got as high as 95. I'm waiting at 90. Oh, we got a little hit at 97 there. Okay, we got a hit at 97, so that's okay. So we do get a piece out there, upside on Palantir at 97. Now let me put something at 99, and then we'll see if we can get the great one to get some executions all the way up there. So what's up, Tobes and everybody else? Let's go Palantir, man. Bob at $2. Intel, I told you we're getting a lot lighter on Intel here. I'm losing faith in this name as the chips are really strong. I mean, the market didn't back off that much there. There was a nice move down, and then now we're starting to bounce back to the upside, only down 0.3, with Nvidia up 4% again, and still like taking names. What is AMD even doing right now?
Weak.
Okay, yeah, weak. Okay, so actually, out of all of them, I'm really the most disappointed here that Intel is not down more. They're up today. So yeah, a little bit disappointing with that one. I feel like we nailed it. And oh shit, did we nail that one? Shout out to Hydration Nation as we're back, baby. There's 1701 on Palantir. And we wrote down on here, we did write 17, but we changed our mind and we have 1680 written down right now. The bottom of the day on Palantir, Patrick, 1681. Sticky note level, 1680. So 1 cent away, and we're long at 80, we're long at 92 there, but did drop some a little bit earlier. Here we go, man. It's a good day, needless to say, and we'll just go to Adair and see what she's saying.
Just some comments coming out of Fed's Austin Goolsbee right now saying that he doesn't want to rule out the concept of a March rate cut, but that they do need to see more data showing inflation progress. So just keep an eye on Fed Goolsbee speaking right now, guys.
Yeah, well, whatever he's saying, the market is continuing lower here. We just broke 181 on Tesla. So remember Tesla 180? Well, we're now underneath $1 away from it. Like I said, I didn't get Rivian. Lucid, I still want to make sure we're getting more shares out in front of that 310 level. If it gets to $3, I think that's another reasonable spot to take profit. Rivian, it is what it is. Could have crossed the bid there. Flipped to it, got on the offer. At the moment, it felt like it was going to push into VWAP, so I thought I'd get that fill. It's continuing to head lower. I still want shorts in front of 15 on Rivian. No questions asked. SoFi is trying its best to hold 750. DWAC's absolutely on one, by the way. It's starting to accelerate. And I realized when I said it, I hadn't paid for locates on Funware. This is now up 12%. If this gets to 50, I'd be looking for a curl, and Fun's at 40 itself. So I'm going to go ahead and pay for those locates. Funware got to like 48 to 50 cents and then turned before. So if DWAC gets to $50 and I can short this off of 50 cents or like 45, I will go ahead and do that. But we do have to pay for locates on Funware. It's going to be like 1/8 of 1 cent per share. I already know, but I still got to do it.
All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching to everybody out there. Let's check out what Disney's doing. We're once again, man, sitting pretty right now. Just need Palantir to go back up, which we've already gotten some out of Palantir. I only have a quarter left on Palantir. So, all right, Disney trying to hold out as well. We'll see if we get a nice little pop-up, 97.30 and change upside there for Disney. We'll see if there's anything happening there for DIS. It doesn't look like it wants to do too much right now, but we'll sit here and wait for it. That's going to be Disney trying to pop upside. And here's the worry for me on PLTR. It's just sitting here right now. So hopefully, like I keep saying, we'll be able to get some love here for PLTR, but we're watching out for that 1680 level, and I'm pretty confident about punching out there. So if it does come back in, we are going to get out there. I'm not going to take any more. I don't even have any more offers on Palantir. So if it goes up, it goes up. I do want to short Tesla in front of now that 182. So there's a marker there of 182. I like that level. The VWAP is 182.88, so I do have an offer right now, just to tell everybody. We do have that offer up at 182.50 to go short against 183. So let's see if that continues to work, but that's what we're doing right now, into that level for Tesla, 182.50. And yeah, so far so good. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. Goolsby is talking right now. I can hear him sort of in my ear. They're just talking about how he agrees with the 2% measure. Obviously, the market is not doing anything here about that, and just sort of towing the line with Chair Powell here. As
he should.
Yeah, I feel like we already know that. So
You're Goolsby.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with what's happening right now. Oracle's been another good dip buy down there near the bottom. Oracle.
So the more I'm kicking myself, because this has probably been a reload on Intel at the 90 level. And most of the reason I did it was watching Nvidia scream to the upside, but that's since pulled back a little bit here. Okay, Tesla's still trying to head to that 180 level. We get there, it's going to be spicy. But Intel, it feels like it should still be a short at the 90s, but this is an upward trending stock. So respect the fact that if it breaks out from here, you got to get out. Well, I'm going to get out. I'm not holding it past the 43 even level, but I will take one more shot if it gets into the 90s. We already mentioned Lucid. SoFi is basing out here off that 750. I was going to wait for underneath 750 to add. It broke, held that 47 by only getting to 49. So that's the 47 bottom from Friday. It holds 49, so I add there instead of adding at like 48 or something. Never got that price. So I add more shares at 53, still giving it to only that 46 level on SoFi. So Tesla looks like it's the big one, getting down to that 180. If it pops off 180, I'd probably short the pop on Rivian if we can catch it. But Tesla 180 incoming for sure. I want to get some more shares out of Lucid before Tesla gets to that 180.
All right, so let's just do, welcome everybody. It's only 10:12 right now. Still waiting for things to happen. Hopefully Intel can make a move back down, but let's just do a little bit of, if we want to, let's just do a little bit of a recap right now. So Google 144 break. We don't have that on our, well, it's on our sticky note, but we don't have it on the account today. And there's the 144 break, and how good was that? It never tested back, and there was zero chance, zero opportunity to worry at all about that trade. Now $1.20 in the money. So that's gonna be one.
Another one.
All right, props. All right, and then we had Alibaba. So let's just look at this. Tesla short. Well, we know what sort of has been happening with Tesla short here today. It's not another one. It's just straight down. No opportunities to get short unless you trade that VWAP. So again, we talked about trading off of VWAP. That would have been a trade, should have been a trade. We should have been short Tesla, but we don't have it. And then the other name that we do have, of course, is Alibaba, which is the biggest and best trade of the day, in my opinion, for me. Long 72. I mean, written rate there, now $1.50 in the money. Did go as high as almost $74. And then the other trades, so we only have 3 trades on today. Palantir long, which still to be determined. I still hope that works out. And then P&L, the number 1 stock here today is going to be Intel. And we don't have a reload there. We should have. We're waiting at 94. But again, loaded it up early, brought it all the way back down to the 50 period and the 200 period. So again, it's a trophy today. We're really super happy with the way the stock market's been going into the day. And again, we're just continuing the momentum from Friday. And basically all of this year has been really good for momentum trading, and we've talked about that. Look at Nvidia, man. It kind of gave you that top. Did we get some similar love here on AMD? Yeah. Well, AMD didn't. AMD just kept going down. But this is the trade that I'm looking for all the time, is right there. So we'll have to wait. We are waiting for Meta. I'm going to throw it over in a second. We are waiting for Meta to pop as well, but that doesn't look like that's happening. I'm actually going to cancel all my shorts now and look for different levels. I don't want to get run over on stock. I want to make sure that we're good to go on everything. So, all right, we're just going to hold what we have, man. $1.70 in the money on Alibaba, 4 cents in the money on an amazing Intel trade, and then we'll wait on Palantir as it's hovering near the lows again. You know what? Just to get fun, let's try some Palantir down here. Our stop is breaking through 80, so if we can get something down here, we'll try it into the low 80s, which we are right now for Palantir.
It's funny you would say just for fun. Shout out to Wes. Wes was like, what are your guys' thoughts on, he said our names, but on Funware? Well, my first thought is this is DWAC. I had that up and I'm watching it closely. If it holds this high, which is currently underneath this high at 45, I want to play the reversion on Funware. So if it does not break back above 45 even, and this is the curl, then I'm geared right now. I paid for locates to short off of this 41 level, try to grab something at like 39.9 or 39.98 or something along those lines to try to hold on to that short. So that's that's what I'm looking at, but I have to watch out for DWAC very closely. Apple's on one, by the way. Did we mention? I don't know if we even mentioned Apple. We mentioned Meta was looking weak.
Mentioned it early, but yeah.
But Apple's up 1% as the market's at the lows. So you know Apple is having a good day. It's just this 180, sorry about the wick here, 188.50 looks like a hard top on the opening range. If this market continues to trend down, it's probably worth some scalp trading in there on Apple. But I am glued to Funware. I think that's going to be the new position to come in for me once this is underneath that. As long as DWAC doesn't break the high of the day, once this is under the 40-cent level, I want to grab that. Now, Lucid's back down to the lows. Tesla's very close, but not there just yet to that 180.
Okay, we'll slam a fail on our last. Oops, that's Travolta. We'll slam a fail on our last Palantir trade. So I did buy back a quarter of the position because it broke 80. We got out and then it completely stopped and went back to 83 again. So I punched a little long here at 80, holding against that 75. Just don't want to get stopped at the very bottom. But now the strategy is simple. We wait. Now we have to wait for it to blast. No more scalping this out. If it goes back up into the 90s, high 90s, then we'll get it out. Otherwise, we'll take a 5-cent hit and it will drop back in. Very, very small position. That's why we're going to try to hold this to see if we can make it back and get it back into the 90s. And this is not like a revenge trade or anything by that stretch of the imagination. This is just we saw it retrace. Okay, we saw it retrace back up on that break, and I just hate to be right about the stock, but just wrong about the level by a couple pennies. This is something that I do all the time, and right now, just telling you, we are in about a quarter of a position that we did have here again, in case, like I said, in case we're right and it flies, but if we're wrong, and the stock is dead, like it seems to be, down 1.4%. I mean, this is down lower than the market when we thought that there was some good news based on earnings reports and deals they had last week. But like I said, man, par for the course for some of these names, as they always tend to come back in here heading into earnings. And Intel, by the way, is really cracking lower. And again, make the money on the ideas. Make the money on the ideas that you really believe in. That's why we're putting these on the sticky note. I'm here to tell you that it's been a good day on many of these names. So let's just keep it going here with what we're doing. Intel, Palantir will hold out, and then we will wait for that Alibaba move back up to the upside as well.
So very quickly, 41 just broke on fun without DWAC going to the upside. So regardless of what DWAC did, my stop is my stop. DWAC didn't break the high, but that's not, for me, that's not a reason to just hold on to this trade and start hoping. We shorted the 40-cent level pretty much exactly at 40 cents, 39.99, and then it broke the 41. So risk about 1 and change, call it 1 1/10 of a cent. If this continues to go higher, I still want to take an offer. If it gets to that double top from a couple of weeks ago, which is 48 cents, I'm very likely going to jump into that. Lucid just cannot, like the EV names cannot seem to get out of their own way. Lucid's back at the lows, but I'm still looking for a pop to short on Rivian as Tesla just broke the 180 level. So if it's going to be, if there isn't, look, if there's no 1490s to be had on Rivian, I don't want to wait till this thing gets to its local bottom at 1460 to jump into a short. If it breaks that, you could be talking about a test of 14 even. I mean, if Tesla can't hold this and is down 5%, 4.5%, Rivian is down 5%. Usually Rivian can do a little bit more, relatively speaking. So I'm going to try and get something in the 80s if I can't get these 90s to the downside here. Going to hang on to Lucid now that it's pretty much at that 310 level. I think you could get down to $3 in here. It is flush city on the overall market, 0.7% to the downside. But Tesla's getting the worst of it. They're taking it on the chin right now.
I mean, I don't know what to tell anybody other than I should be probably looking at futures. We talked about it earlier that I looked over, I was making sure that these were bears. All the ideas we have written on here are shorts, except for the one long that would have been about $1.80 of a winner on Google. So we'll wait. We'll wait for Google to maybe pull back as well. We just cashed the hell out of Intel, man. Intel just cranked a lot lower right there. So all is good on this one. And then, of course, there is the stuff going on with Tesla that continues to make that name lower and lower and lower. But yeah, man, congratulations if you're in this market today. It's been a doozy, and it seems to be going one way, and it is to the short side. It's too bad that we didn't have all of our Tesla ducks lined up properly, as we got a little bit off there on the price. So we'll wait for it, though. Now on Tesla, I still like where we're going with it. Just needs to hit a little bit lower or a little bit higher to get bumped back up so we can short somewhere. But there goes Tesla, man, breaking through 179. It's not nice. It's Tesla, and it continues to go down. 50 cents now in the money for this guy, and that is, of course, Intel. We'll wait to see what that one wants to do, but Intel continuing its grind lower as well. And Alibaba, for some reason, continues to make highs. So that's been an absolute great one. And then the only other name that we missed on the sticky note is right here, and that's pulling back in, and that's going to be Google. DraftKings, Shopify. You know, I think the story is going to be a pullback today in Nvidia, a pullback today in Meta, and we'll see if this continues, because Nvidia is not even pulling back yet.
Well, yeah, it is.
No, but not. Still up 3%. Yeah. It's like you're not even seeing anything clocked yet. So if you think you've seen something yet, just wait. As I feel like I'm a promoter here. Wait till you see what's coming next. But yeah, this market is not even. It's not even sick yet. Wait till we start to break. So Nvidia right now looking to hold out on the 675. If it doesn't, then I'll see you on the south side with everything here, because Intel's the one name that we have to the short, and it's so far so good. Maybe we got to flip over to AMD or something, but the market's coming in, man. We missed Meta, we missed Tesla, but we're doing pretty good here as it goes anyways.
Just one more thing before we go to the small cap recap, and that's going to be Affirm. This is still holding the exact same range underneath the 40 level. I hate to say this, but if this continues and it never breaks lower as the market continues to go down, this could be a long back through the top. We're going to keep an eye on this one if it continues to hold this bid. But let's get to the small cap recap with Adara.
Not a super promising look for the IWM right now. That's the Russell 2000 here, so that smaller cap ETF. This one down about 2% right now, not really showing many signs of stopping, but we do have some individual runners to talk about, including this one, bit of a penny stock here, Yield 10. This is YTEN is going to be the ticker for this one. This one is also interesting. It has a $2.75 million market cap, float of about 10 million. Not seeing any specific news on this one, but really nice look for this one here, Y10. We also have, this one was actually on the watch list today, FDMT. So this would be 4D Molecular Therapeutics. They got a price target increase from RBC Capital Markets after announcing some trial data for their wet AMD study. So nice look here for FDMT, up almost 100%. Last but not least, I brought this one to the big desk earlier. ADVM, Adverum Biotechnologies, agreeing to sell some of the shares in a private placement. So lots of small caps running around here today, guys.
Yeah, watch out for those small caps. Micron, that just showed up. Let me find out what's going. Micron with a nice little tank, that's why. All right, so again, and it's funny because Micron with the tank down, and we were talking about trying to short some names. Micron, and Darren mentioned this last week, we had really traded this short last week, Micron a couple times, and it's trying to fade off this $86 level. Let's see if it holds it. But realistically, again, that's the whoosh down that just happened there on Micron. So feel like you want to let it go back upside. I was actually, so okay, let's just not talk about it and think about a trade. 86.30, 86.20, maybe on a pushback to the upside right here. I just don't want to get too carried away. I mean, the market's not even, like, it's down, but I'm trying to play some retracements back up, which makes me think. We made a lot of money short Meta on Friday. It was, like I said, it was my best stock there on Friday, and we only started trading it short into the afternoon when we hit this level right there, 85s. We were short into the close, $4 or $5, and then you saw what happened there into the close and completely ended the day at that 475. I feel like we were shorting it into this area, 77, 78, underneath the 200 period, but we did start it up here. So today, unfortunately, there's the push to VWAP. There's it holding VWAP, pretty much all the way down. So we do have to wait for it to curl back up, but it looks like it may be finding a bottom. I'm not going to say it's finding a bottom, but maybe it is as you're approaching back up to VWAP right now for Meta. So that's 460 on the knot. That's pretty good, man. Even dollar levels, that's what we like to support. And you could see here at 470, it was deciding before it broke again. So I'm actually interested now in this 460 clean break downside. So let's see if we can break a little bit here downside on Meta through 460, but play a little bit of a move back up. We'll have to watch out for it on Meta there, and then we are going to go to Adair in 1 second. I just want to see, because the other short that I was thinking about was Tesla, but that needs to be upside as well. So, all right, we're getting close, man. 181, 182 for Tesla. I think you can re-engage in some shorts, and then the same thing there as we just talked a little bit about Meta. And then I am doing as I preach here, because there's the other out on Intel. We talked about getting a little bit lighter as some of these moves might have come to a conclusion. Let's go see if Adair has a story to support that.
I do have a story on Morphosis, the U.S.-listed shares of this company trading at new 52-week highs, up about 28% after Reuters reported that Novartis is in talks to buy the company. So MOR, nice move here to the upside with volume, guys.
Whoops. And that stock just looks like it wants more and more to the upside.
Yes.
Morphosis, whatever. All right. That's, we can do better puns than that. We said that maybe a firm which could not go lower, if it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go. Okay, that's not necessarily. It could do nothing. There is another answer to that question. It could have just continued to go inside. But if it doesn't do that and the market tries to bounce, I wanted the long off the 40 level. It's now trying to break out. I was trying to grab it in here off 40s. Instead, I'll go half as it's breaking the top end of this early range. Maybe we can add to it at that 40. As a potential squeeze name, given it has a good short flow, when everything else is dying and it's showing consolidation, I know what it can do. And if it gets to 41, which was the level we like short on the pop, then I want to be involved in this to the long side. In front of that 40 level, I'll give it to like 39.90 or change out in front. I did jump into Rivian on this retracement back up. We got to be careful here. Tesla just held 178.90 or no 70s at the bottom. So it's trying to make a bit of a bounce here. And you could see Rivian press back into 15. I'll probably go tight stop here and then look for the VWAP retracement for more. I am out of the bulk of Lucid. I'm holding on to 15%. Got that fill in front of Friday's low. As that continues to flush, this can also be a potential VWAP reload, I suppose we'd call it. Reload to me is at the same price, but it's still a reload because we're hanging on to some of that short. We like Apple. If it could have broken out that top, but with the market continuing to go lower, I know it's a relatively strong name at this point, but with the market continuing to go lower, might be time to look for like a dip buy on Apple. Didn't want to take out that top, but the market was too weak for that. Maybe you look at this 186. Certainly the 185 level looks pretty juicy for Apple. So we're just about what is that next trade. Oh, where did the position board go? I'm long Affirm, short Intel, short Lucid, short Rivian. So the only long position I have is actually Affirm. That's a sentence that I have not said in a very long time. Maybe ever.
We won't hold it against you.
The only long trade Affirm?
But we've got, we just shorted Meta, and I mean, we can go back and forth about all these ho-hum trades. This is now 50 cents in the money right now for Meta as we just put it on again. So let's go, man. We are just like on one again here today. There goes Meta to the downside. We're already out of 40%, so let's see if it will continue to work, man. I don't know. Here for Meta, nice downside push. We just took some out. I was going to get out if we broke above 465, so hopefully we don't do that here for Meta today, but we'll see what it wants to do, and that's going to be my stop, and I'm pretty happy with it, so hopefully we will be able to get some love back in on Meta. Hold on a second, I need to cancel that order. So that's VWAP. So it's just a retracement back to VWAP. It's exactly as it was written. Again, man, like we talked about that. We didn't even write this down as it was spoken, back up into VWAP. So that's going to be, you know, like I said, hopefully a good trade moving forward. Let's just see, you know, if it does settle back in here for Meta. But we're out of 40% already with our best one fill at 44, and then one fill down there in the 20s, 22, to give us that sort of a move down. We'll put something else at 460. Like if it gets back to 461, then man, that will be a good trade. But back into the 50 period, I think is also a decent trade. So 462.50. Let's see if we can make $2 and change here on this Meta position short. Remember, like we're not trying to play around. Like if this comes in for us, then let's hold it and see if it does make that move back into 462. Let's just put a 463 fill. All right, if we can get that, then great. I don't know if we're going to do it or get it, but let's go over to Adara right now as bye-bye. We got $2 in the money, $2 in the money right now on Alibaba. As you can see, that one's now at day's high, man. And I don't know who would have thought about that, but we got that short down there, up long down there at 72 as we wrote about it. And then Intel, we're getting lighter and lighter. I'm not super pleased about the way this one's working. Thanks for all the support. And I guess we maybe should have supported the Tesla short, but that did not get back to VWAP. So glad we picked on Meta a little bit, but Meta's starting to go back up. Let's see what Sedera's got, and then we'll breathe a little easy here on Meta if it goes down. But it's looking like maybe he wants to retrace back upside. Or out on Meta, 465.20s. Sedera.
Really interesting case related to crypto coming out of the UK here. Craig Wright, this Australian computer scientist, being sued for claiming that under a pseudonym he did create Bitcoin. He's getting sued by the COPA, which is a crypto patent-related group. Members include Block Inc. and also Coinbase, and basically their whole goal is keeping crypto patent-free. So really interesting case. This should last, or it's speculated to last until about mid-March, so we'll maybe have some more updates on this, but this case began today in London. Bitcoin itself not doing too much, very much still hanging out just below that 43,000 area, about 42,850 right now. Just eclipsing that 42.9 area, up about 0.6%. Ethereum holding up nicely as well around that 2,300 level. Not too much happening. A lot of these cryptocurrencies pretty flat right now, though Avalanche is down about 2% and Chainlink notably up about 7%, guys.
All right, here we go. Come on, hold it. So we just got a little bit more of a firm as it continues to hold above that $40 level. However, I want to get to Rivian here because it just did the wick dance in front of VWAP. I thought if it broke that 90, we're going to get 15s, but it kind of wicked me out at 91 and is coming right back in. So change of procedure here, which is take half, hold longer. So we're going to take, instead of taking 85 to hold to 90, I want to get some at 90 that I can hold to the $15 level on Rivian. Lucid's still looking like it wants to bounce, but Tesla just took out the lows. Again, like that's part of the reason here. Like if Tesla wants to continue to break down, and you can still, like look at this. It's now 5.5% to the downside on Tesla. So I want to look for those EV shorts. And if we can get more of them, great. I'm looking at obviously Lucid and Rivian and Sympathy. I haven't really checked out any of the others, but it is bleed time on Tesla as it continues to fall. And the market's going down. I mean, I don't have many long ideas. I know Apple's relatively strong, So like maybe this can bounce off of its low here at the 186. The one thing we are in, which is, as I said, it's a bit weird to be long a firm when the market is down, but it's showing relative strength. I'm going to get some out in front of the pre-market highs, which is also the opening range top 40-50, and then want to get out in front of that 41. That was the short level that we liked on a firm. So right now it's about 10 cents in the money. Want to get it to 20, and then we'll start getting more shares out as it breaks the high of the day. Market bleeding to the downside.
Holy jeez, guys. Oh, man. I mean, I could hit the podcast, but, you know, I was going to save that for Sharif. All right, let's just go. Travolta's like, who the hell? Like, does anybody, we have 2 trades on right now. Meta is $2 in the money. We just put this trade on 5 minutes ago, and we discussed it. So there it is right there, man. The People's Trader is right here, right now, and we're going to spin this together. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. There it is right there. We took a piece out for the dollar, then we took the piece out down there at 60, like where we said we would, down there at 62, 63.02 right there for that $2 club. And then, you know, sure, maybe Sean's just like a crazy bear, right? Like, we only have $2 winners short. Alibaba right now, 250 in the money to the upside. This is, again, another name off the sticky note. We are just stone cold chilling right now, which is why we did that. We need some beers. Crack the beers, dumped them all over right now. But there goes Meta, $2 in the money short. Alibaba, 250 in the money long. And I think it's time for Adara. Did I hear that? Let's go to the big desk.
Yeah, just an interesting look here from this penny stock, Gorilla Technology Group. GRRR is the ticker for this one. They reported generally positive results here through Q3 2023, so 9-month revenue. Really volatile here, though. We keep kind of reaching this level and coming back, so definitely something to keep an eye on. But really nice, strong volume for GRRR.
You got to go grr at least once with that bad boy. I mean, like, I haven't looked at, but the second you pull up that chart, Gorilla's chart, look, all I see, glowed, there we go, triple top, right? Like, that's not rocket science. So if you like shorts, then, you know, do with it as you will, but that's not the way I approach it. If it's close to $1 and it's going to consolidate a move like this, maybe you get a couple more higher lows. This is one of those crazy, I got to zoom way in here. There you go. It's got a lot of room to next resistance at 90 cents and then that dollar level. That's what I usually want to be involved with. So if it breaks out the high, anybody that likes breaks the high of the day, I love pullbacks off those breaks if it's stair-stepping up. So I'll look at this at the 70-cent level. I just added to Rivian, as mentioned, because Tesla seems to want 175. So the EVs continue to be a bit of a short. I'll add this one to the list, maybe for the midday for a consolidation long. But this is great. This is good volume, not great. And you've got a lot of room to that 90-cent level to be able to catch that upside. Tesla just continues to bleed. There has not been a bid. There wasn't a bid at 180. Trust me. I know we didn't show you level 2 when it got there, but it did not last. It was there and it broke almost instantly. It was like breaking people's backs. So you want to stick to the EV shorts. And right now the only one setting up is Rivian here out in front of VWAP. So I'm shorting Rivian off VWAP because that's the one that's being given to me. If you're still looking at some other names, like if Nikola was at 70 cents, I'd probably take this one a little bit higher. But the bleed just absolutely continues. So we got to stay net short. Like I said, the only thing I am long is going to be a firm, and I think that's more of like a squeeze, relative strength type play.
All right. I mean, it was $1, and then it became $2, and then now it's $3, as Meta just continues to make moves downside. So let's see what happens now. And I don't have any more bids on this name. Let's just let it all get straight up downside right now. I did take some more out of Intel because this story is finished. And actually, I don't even want to short anymore. We don't need to. We don't need to do any more trades today, but we'll still do it. We're coming back at 2 o'clock, and we'll do some research here during the midday. We'll find out. We will get all prepared for the biggest and the baddest recap show, period, out there. And then we will, you know, we'll have some more, hopefully some more bangers for you. this is why we do the sticky note. It's like we come in and we just prepare and we try to find the best ideas. Tesla short, Neil just talked about, you can't even get short. That's how good that trade is. Baba long is now 250 in the money, the only long apparently working. Google, we had there breaking through 144. Now you could start to think about buying some of that as it's pulled back. I don't know if we're ready to do it yet. Let's check out Shopify. Ooh, yuck. All right, so here goes Shopify back down into the downside. Wow, now Meta is officially $3 and bleeding downside like crazy. We picked on, oh, and by the way, we just shut it out. There's nothing more important than community. Part of what makes this show go round is the relationships that we've built with everybody, you know, including Michael Noss. And Brian Shannon is a weekly guest, of course, on the market recap show. And you could see right here, man, this is a pullback into VWAP, and we just shorted it. And now it's 350 in the money. Should have shorted more, I guess. But there it is, 350 now in the money on that one. Go find me all over Twitter, man. Great follow. I'm trying to tweet out different things. I actually tweeted something out earlier today, and I want to shout out, Adara found this and sent this over to me this morning. I thought it was pretty interesting. Where is it? It's right here. And that is like the buyback that have really affected Apple buybacks, right? I mean, $78.2 billion in buybacks there for Apple. So go check it out, man. It's bought back $619 billion in stock, which is bigger than pretty much every single S&P 500 company out there. So, I mean, just in the money that they're spending on their own stock has helped lift this back up. So I found that super, super interesting there for Apple. So go find that out as we'll just continue to tweet more stuff. I'm going to go get a refill on the coffee and throw it back over here because honestly, guys, 99 problems, stocks ain't one on this side, and we're just going to go worry about getting hydrated up here. And thank you so much to Patrick Langlois, Mark Kramer, everybody there, Renata, everybody in the chat, because guess what now? Meta is $1, $2, $3, $4 now in the money. And if you guys watch every day, you know we have multiple dollar winners every single day. And here's just another example right now with Meta. Never have $4 losers. Sometimes have $4 winners, and I feel like that's the way you're trying to play. What's up, Hold My Beer, and everybody in there as well. Just found out that my son, unfortunately, has a game this Sunday at 7:30.
Oh, there's nothing happening this Sunday.
So there's absolutely nothing happening.
I can't think of anything that's happening
this Sunday, but the Super Bowl can shove it because I'm going to his game. So we'll pay attention to that. But right now, you want to wrap anything up, or we got
just quickly? You guys know Rivian was the only thing we were putting on recently when it got to VWAP there, or VWAP, whatever you want to call it. It's VWAP. I'm not saying VWAP anymore, but you guys keep putting that in my head. But it's right back into those lows. Want to respect that. I was looking for what is setting up as Tesla is making fresh lows. Rivian is setting up. So we grab some 90s in there, getting some out in front of that low of the day. As we go to the big screen, it is the Sector Watch with Adara.
Needless to say, a lot of red on this board here, so we'll focus on what's marginally positive. Google, a nice bright spot here in the technology services area. Electronic technology basically buoyed here by Nvidia and Apple. Nvidia getting that nice price target increase here from Goldman Sachs and also being added to their convictions list. Also some strength to be noted in health technology as well. Eli Lilly up 5.5% after getting a price target increase from Jefferies. AbbVie also higher after reporting their earnings on Friday before market open. So nice day two earnings play here for AbbVie, but generally lots of weakness. Finance almost right across the board. Retail trade right across the board. Consumer services led to the downside by those McDonald's earnings. Producer manufacturing a little bit more mixed. Cat did report an earnings beat earlier today, or a little bit mixed there, but certainly a nice look here. Tesla leading consumer durables to the downside. Utilities, producer manufacturing also down here. Not a lot of positivity across the sectors right now, guys.
I mean, not a lot of positivity at all in the market. Let's be real about that for a second. Not today. Not when the NASDAQ's about to crack the 1% mark to the downside, the ES following lockstep. Let's just get back to the futures for a quick little second here, because I can't talk about it without showing it to you guys, just what this looks like on the higher time frame. The ES if we get another 15 points, we're going to be challenging Friday lows in there, and then the NASDAQ, which I flip over to, sort of the same kind of idea, that 1% and heading down into those Friday bottoms. It's maybe like 80 points to said downside. As mentioned, the newest position was Rivian. I want to make sure I'm covering into this low. Got to give you guys, the thing about trading is every trade is going to be different. Like you can say, hey, short the EVs, but there's a difference between short off the top, into resistance. This is breaking underneath that 15 level. Next gap is down to 1460, as you can see on Rivian. So zooming out, want to make sure I'm taking profit. The only long position right now is one that came out of nowhere because a firm just refuses to drop with the markets at this point. So it kept wicking underneath 40 after double bottoming on Thursday and Friday, and then holding the 40 level. So I'm long at the quarters into that 40 level and then trying to get 50s and then out in front of the 41. As long as it holds and the market continues to pressure down, do not mind sitting in this one to the long side. It's showing some signs of relative strength. Tesla is not 175 incoming. Keep talking about this. The EVs are in the gates of hell right now. And regardless of what you think about them or I think about them in the long term, the truth of the matter is we are trend down, and when you're trend down, the trend is your friend, and you want to be looking to the south side. Like it's bleeding. 175 is a nice round number. I didn't see the bid just now when it, I just saw it for a split second. It looked like maybe 250,000 shares. I just saw it in the book at the 175, so there's a sizable bid down there on Tesla. I might, this time of day, 11 o'clock, that's generally a good spot to look for bounce plays. If it really is 250,000 shares down there, it's worth a scalp.
I don't have any problem scalping out pretty much anything, as you guys know. Let's just look at the one stock that we are going to be red on today. It's going to be Palantir. It sucks to be red on Palantir, obviously, but it sucks to be red on any stock. I just feel pretty good about it, though, because we were able to make money back there when it bounced the first time. Not really too much money back any other times, unfortunately, but you're going to be able to see here, hopefully, maybe 1650. I'm just going to leave it alone, honestly. We were a little wrong on getting out of, that's Meta. We're not wrong on that one. That's, holy shit, that's a good one. This was the one. It's Intel. So I do have a bid down here. I'm going to cancel it now. That sucks. I did think we were going back up to the upside. Remember, and I was saying, like, you think the market's down. You haven't seen anything yet, and here I am getting out as we go back up to the upside. So, again, sometimes I talk about this. It's my bad. We chase P&L all the time. So, sometimes if we're in a good spot that I'm pretty happy with, I will punch out and look at some levels and then maybe not hold forever. The thing is, we only have 20% left of Meta, but look where it bounced, 460. We actually talked about the 460 level earlier today. I was just hoping that it would break. We've done this study back and forth with you guys a lot of times on the show, and that is looking at stock, figuring out what levels are going to break, what levels aren't going to break, and then is it worth sitting there? I don't think it's worth sitting there. So I'm not, like, I'd rather miss this trade like I just did than give up the opportunity for it to break lower. So I could short it. I could get out now and then short on a break as well. But I just want to see if we're going to be right about holding on to this, breaking through 460. I still like the trade. And yeah, that's that. Yo, what's up, Willis Addison? Let me go check out Coin for you then over there, my guy, because 116, Jesus, man. Did we nail this one or what? I know we nailed a firm calling that a short at 50, but this one's probably better calling this at 180. I mean, there it is, man. You're pushing lower, and now you're starting to break. So, wow. If you're able to get short on that name, congratulations, Coinbase. I know Adara's been talking a little bit about crypto today for sure. I'm not even exactly sure what that story is, but Coinbase continues to definitely worry investors, down another 10 points today, 10%. And yeah, see you later. I shorted HUT, or I didn't short, I got out of HUT most recently. So yeah, especially Neil actually called it up already.
Tomorrow's only 8.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Called up about, looking at IBIT and some things like that and GBTC and trying to follow out that. I just feel like now that these coins have all come off a little bit, and the hype of the ETFs is now potentially over, you're seeing quite a dramatic move here, even in BTC right now. Just in the last, we just made a high there at 9 o'clock at 43.6. You're now down to 42.6, breaking lower. I don't know what this is. This is Bitcoin ticker. The reason why .co. The reason why I have it up is so that I could show you guys down here just a real-time price, which is now unresponsive, so sick. But anyways, we'll get that going here as Chrome saves the day again, or the complete opposite, but one or the other right there. So, all right, that's that, and we'll get that page loaded up. But yeah, Bitcoin today, definitely to the downside. I prefer Ethereum or Ether as opposed to Bitcoin because Bitcoin really got a little bit of a run up, needless to say.
I still like the halving, which what are we? It's February now, so we're getting close to that. So just a couple of months away from the halving in April. But I think you can maybe get a rally off of that. So Tesla bounced. We mentioned Tesla at that 175 level. It bounced once. I just scalped it from 30s into this even 176 even, that is. So we got about 60 cents there. I'm gonna look for another reload in front of 175 if I can even get that. Then I'm just shooting for 177.5, like right into like the big drop here off 180, consolidated down here 178. So that was the last big liquidity vacuum. So bounce from here to here. I'm not even thinking VWAP. If you like VWAP, congratulations to you if it gets all the way there. I will be out of Tesla if this even goes like $2. Give me the $2 and I'll be happy when this is trending that far to the downside. So Tesla, the 175 bounce, it's more of a time of day thing. It's a little different trying to catch a bottom at 11 o'clock or close to it than it is trying to sit there at like 9:40 when the stock is absolutely bleeding in to said downside. A firm continues to just go sideways, which is fine by me. But look at the 40 level. Trying to hold here. I'm giving it just underneath that 40 level on a firm. The longer it holds, I think the better. But the story for me now is going to be Tesla off of that long. And if you look, you guys are going to see me in and out of EVBG. It's just a buyout being bought for cash. So I've been in and out of it 10s. Look at it. It's like a 3-cent range, right? So mostly longs off of 10s and 11s, and then its top is at 13. If you're with real trading here and you're a prop trader or you just have direct market access and you can get rebates and that kind of thing, and you don't mind taking a 1-2 cent spread, then you can grab some of this and just go to get in and out. But if you're not doing that, this is not a stock that's gapping 18%, that's going to go to 25%. That's just not happening. It's a very tight range here. So go Tesla, get to 177. Let's get to the desk. We've got Money Talks.
USD very much breaking out that range that we were in for the second half of January. Second candle in a row to the upside, knocking on the door of that 104.60 area. For the DXY, we did get a lot of economic data this morning. Two of the main pieces we got with an ISM non-manufacturing PMI coming in at 53.4 versus the expected 52, so slightly higher than the expected, and we also had a revision of the previous number to 50.5. Meanwhile, S&P Global Services coming in 52.5 versus 52.9 expected, so this one's slightly lower than expected for the Global Services PMI here. Lots of Fed speak coming up later this week. Not too many major numbers, but Fed speak definitely going to be on watch for the rest of this week here. Also worth noting, a little bit of an interesting move happening in the euro to the USD ratio with ECB Governing Council member Vujic saying that they do need some more patience before doing some rate cuts here for the euro, which is leading to a nice move down here for the euro USD, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Adair, for that one. And I forgot, when you're having days like this, you deserve some of this. Guess I'll get it going right now. We've got some watermelon, we've got some grapes, and I was able to find one kiwi in there.
You don't usually have kiwi. What's the orange?
I don't know. I don't know what that orange is. I think it's like a sliver of peach.
Oh, that's, no, is it cantaloupe?
Yeah,
I
don't
can't
think it's
tell.
cantaloupe.
That's a little weird that you can't.
Yeah, you know, if I can't tell what it is, maybe I should hard pass, but no. Shout out again. And when you're having, like I was mentioning, guys, like when this is what's happening, you celebrate it, and it's been a good day, needless to say. So hopefully everybody is able to trade with us, and if not, man, hopefully you guys are having a successful day today, because today, as our friend Ice Cube says, is definitely a good day, and why not? You know, continue to enjoy it, man. No matter what kind of trading style you have, you know, there's lots of opportunity here in this market. So just keep on going with it, and we talk about this all the time. You know, I've been doing this 22 years, so there is going to be some value, you know, in following, you know, not only your own rules, right, but also, like, I find listening to a lot of you guys in the chat as well, looking at some levels. Yeah, 7.2K live, T-Money. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live here again today, obviously, as we trade live every single day. Just make sure that, I mean, I can't hit the cat one, so I'm going to take that down in a minute, but I don't even have the Sharif one. So Neil will have to hit it. No. We need likes and subscribes. I mean, I know I have the Dollar Trade Club. Hit it again. Sharif hit it by accident.
Okay.
Sharif, what are you doing here, bro?
happening?
Hit it again.
Dude,
hit it again. We're doing like and subscribe with Sharif. Right there. So there it is. Sharif, come on, man. Everyone likes it. So there it is right there. There's Sharif. Like and subscribe. See, there he is right there live.
What's wrong?
As he gets ready for the Midday Madness show. What are you guys doing today? Earnings, okay. So Sharif's going to be reviewing the podcast and doing earnings today. So lots happening on the midday show today as well. So make sure you guys do all check it. I mean, I guess I'll be the only one mentioning it, but we will check it out on the podcast later on today. Get a chance when you get an opportunity to do that. Why not at lunchtime? You know, check it out. We talk all about earnings and everything like that. And it was a lot of fun. I want to thank you. Brendan sent me the details. We had a record weekend on Spotify. So thank you, everybody, for that one. Every weekend moving forward will be bigger and better. So I want to thank everybody. Kyle Burdett talked about it earlier, and so did everybody there in the chat. So let's keep on going, guys. AMD nearing the 50 period. Yeah, I'm surprised too, Paulie, that I'm not trading softy today, but we don't have any qualms with what we've been trading yet here today. We did slip up a little bit on Tesla, on Palantir, and Meta's coming back in. So my bigger looks right now, I think Mr. Paulie D will be on, and shout out to Jim Tan Laundry and all that stuff, will be here on Meta, potentially reloading it at this VWAP level again, but maybe now we should just put a bid down here at 460. I think we were being a little stubborn, but we did talk about that. All right. Baba's still upside, man. Intel's still 30 cents, and Meta's still there, and it's been a really, really great morning. Thanks for watching Neil and I.
Absolutely, everyone. We got 5 minutes to go. We have some time, so just a quick update. I just reloaded here on Rivian as it tries to hold underneath VWAP, so retrace to VWAP. The range at the bottom is 1473 to 1493, so you're getting about one and change percent range, which is decent. If it's going to do that, we'll try scalping inside. But the reason I like that reload is, look at Tesla, right back to that 175 level. So if it breaks 175, which it's apt to do any second now, then I want to be reloading Rivian shorts. So I did jump in here and sort of reload the 175. I feel like there's less size on the bid somehow. Now I see maybe 100,000 shares less on the 175 level on Tesla, but there was a refresher at 176. So you got to scalp. Well, you don't have to scalp it out, but I'm going to in between 75 and 76. But the reload is short Rivian off of VWAP as Tesla continues to press to said downside. We'll see if it can go, but it's only been one direction until we got this little bit of a reprieve at the 175 level. The buyers can step in all they want on the bid, but Tesla's done 52 million shares. So 300 and whatever thousand shares it is a drop in the bucket compared to what is happening here on Tesla. That's the only new position. I haven't had an opportunity to reload Lucid anywhere close to where we liked it, up at that 326. But that stock just only goes one. Okay, that's not true. It went up the other day, like some day last week. It had one day last week that it was green, but it's been headed to the downside otherwise. And you just stick to the trend, which is your friend. As I mentioned, do whatever you want to do, but there was a big seller at 176 on Tesla, so I like scalping out in front of that bounce. Ring the register because the trend is going the other way. I'm going to stick with 177.5. That's where I want to hold the rest of this here on TSLA. And Affirm just staying in the pocket here. It's pretty binary for me. Either it breaks out the top or it breaks 40 evens. on a firm. It's just somehow relatively strong today, despite being down 1.8%. You can see at the open, it held 39.60. It's holding a higher low. How many stocks are holding higher lows right now? This, maybe, I didn't even know. I was about to say maybe Nvidia, but then the last time you looked at it, it wasn't. SMCI is holding a higher low. There you go. SMCI is also relatively strong. 7% to the upside. What an absolute banger this stock has been. But just keep in mind, it's a highly shorted name for a big cap, relatively decent size cap stock. It's not a big cap. It's only 30-something billion. It's like a mid cap stock. But for 9% short float, that is a pretty decent size company to have almost double digits short. Like things like, what would Tesla be, like 2.5% probably on Tesla. So 9's not that, nothing to sneeze at.
No, nothing's lining up for me right now. Let's just check back in on Google a little bit. See if there's anything hitting here. So this could be a 144. I mean, the thing about it is I'm trying to change a bit, and that is like when the market looks like this, like shit, or like great like this.
Crap.
Yeah.
Well, weak is the word.
Weak. That's what, isn't that what I said? I think that's what I said. No, I don't want to go long on anything. I know Neil had that great trade on Tesla, and then he explained scalping out of it. That's the kind of stuff that I think we should be doing as well. So for Google, I mean, unless it gets back into like 142 clean, 143, I mean, this bottom area, I don't really want to play around with it right here at this level. That's the 200 period. I am already a little bit weary of potential moves here on Google. So yeah, that's going to be something that could be the long. Palantir down near. Well, okay, it's not really low enough. I was hoping
I hate. Oh.
I hate this stock. I mean, it's not today. It's the only losing stock, and you're bouncing off. I was going to say look at this, but now that I look at it, it's not really giving you any pullbacks. So we probably break lower. I was going to say look at 16. I actually didn't realize it was holding up here. So Palantir, if it gets down to 16, but that's not going to happen. The other stock that was, you know what, we traded really well the other day? We looked at SMH a little bit. Oops, SMH, and we hit this good. So if anything happens a little more dramatically here, this is only a $192 stock. You know, we could start to go over and fade the SMH if Nvidia and all that continue to make lows, or, you know, again, bouncing near that $700. And if this is a little too expensive for you, obviously SMH up at 192 is also expensive, but this is looking a little bit better now. But if you like the short, I would say stick with SMH, because I just feel like it's the whole sector is eventually going to fall down. So, all right, that's that. That's SMH and some review there.
And it's 11 o'clock. You know what time it is. So you can see on the bottom, we already got Sharif and Adara. They're going to be talking about earnings and Learn to Trade. I'll pop in, give you the lesson of the day, but I'm not going to let you know what it is until noon. It's always fun jumping in there. We're back at 2. We're not going anywhere. And then it's going to be a big, big day. After market, you've got Palantir earnings, but tomorrow morning, Eli freaking Lilly. The new member, I guess it's the new member of the Magnificent Seven,
some people
whatever.
are calling it that.
But it's absolutely a beast today. It broke $700 today, so that's another one to watch and maybe go over as well. But hey, you know what time it is. Let's get on over to the Professor and Adara.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I am Sharif. And as per usual, we're going to wait for everyone to migrate on over from the morning stream. We already have a couple of eager beavers. We got Darwin, we got Vin, we even have Adara.